Hey, podcast pals. It's Dana from the Half-Ass Morning Show. As always, we appreciate you checking on the podcast, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The July heat means it's officially swass and crotch soup season. Gross! It also means our AC units are being put to the test. I recently went through an issue myself, and I was so happy to have my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning in my corner. They gave me real options, didn't make me feel like a dummy for not knowing a single thing about HVAC systems, and let me choose what worked best for my home and my budget. No pressure, just comfort my way. Enjoy the show, thanks for listening, and stay cool this summer with Standard.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Wednesday. It can be a problem. Wednesdays can be a problem. But we're going to try to do all we can to make it work, no matter what. First off, we thank you for joining us here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Oh, next up, I get to go ahead and ask my life partner, Cubby, how he's doing this morning.
Pretty good.
You doing pretty good?
I'm keeping an open mind, but I could be easily swayed. You started out by saying it's a problem on Wednesdays.
They can be.
I didn't think about it until you brought it up, and I realized, you know what? He's right. Wednesdays can be a problem.
Wednesdays can be a problem, but we're going to do, everything within our power to push past all the... When I walked in this morning, I told Josh, I said, not only am I tired this morning, but I'm gas leak in the house tired.
I've been there before where things are just weird.
Yeah.
Your body feels extra heavy.
Yeah, I thought about waking up the wife and telling her to get out of the house before I left this morning because I was gas leak in the house tired. But I'm starting to feel a little better. I got this happening, that happening, you know what I mean?
Did you at least open a window or something on your way out?
No, I just kind of, I laughed to myself and I walked out.
I suppose. You've got life insurance. What are you worried about?
Gas leak in the house style tired. I hope most of you out there are feeling, a touch better than that.
Had that happen a couple of times. Have you ever had a gas leak?
No, I remember your stories, though.
I've had it happen twice.
You had...
Actually,
didn't like a worker come into the house and accidentally crack a pipe open for you? Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We were renting a house, and we came into the neighborhood. I'm like, oh, man, there must have been some construction going on, and somebody hit a gas line, but I don't see any vehicles anywhere.
Right.
It was overwhelming. And so I opened up. I was the first one in the house, and I opened up the garage, and it was out of control. I've never experienced such a blast of that gas smell ever.
Ooh, that's frightening.
You can send in a joke if you want. But yeah. So, and not only that, when I opened the door from the garage into the house, I heard it. It was loud. It was really loud because right when you walked in, that's where the washer and dryer were. And so the people that owned the home had switched from a gas dryer to an electric dryer. But somehow...
That'll kill you right there.
Well, see, somehow the person forgot to put the cap on the severed line, right?
Yeah.
And so I opened some windows and I called the gas company, and I was, I didn't leave. I thought I'd be fine. And they're like, you got to get out of the house, man. And you shouldn't be making a phone call in there.
I'm just going to light up a heater, make a phone call quick, and see what's going on here.
And to their credit, the gas company got out there, crazy fast, within a few minutes. It was so fast. And so I ended up going in with the guy, and he's bringing his sniffer out, and we're going through the house, and he goes up to we go up to the second floor, and he told me, he's like, dude, this was probably minutes away from an explosion, how bad this was. It was terrible.
Come on, that sucks.
And we had another time where they had to replace our water heater. It had blew up, basically. Water everywhere. They came out, and there was like a bad solder joint or something, whatever it was, and it was leaking pretty bad. That's just one where you got a headache all of a sudden. You can kind of smell it in the utility room. Outside of that, it wasn't too terrible.
That's all very scary. Very scary to hear those stories. Gas and electricity scare the living hell out of me.
I knew enough not to turn a light on, right?
Right.
But I didn't think my cell phone would be a big deal, and they told me that's not the case.
A number of years ago, I was living in a garbage townhouse, although I loved the neighborhood. It was a garbage townhouse. Had some laughs, I probably shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't have even called the place garbage. It was not a fancy joint, but hell, I had some good times there. But I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I could hear this. You know what I mean? Just a rush. That kind of a thing. Loud as hell. I didn't have any idea what the hell it was. My dog's looking out the window. He's trying to figure out what this type sound is. And when I flipped open the blinds, I got every fire department in about in the general area across the street from my townhouse. Because there's a massive gas pipe that is cracked across the street, and the gas is just pouring out and making that sound that I've been struggling to imitate. Wow, what a scene. Cherries flipping everywhere, fire trucks everywhere. Well, there's a massive gas leak across the street, directly across the street from my townhouse.
That's what I expected to see, because that's happened before where somebody accidentally, they're digging and somebody accidentally hits a gas line of some sort.
Cops everywhere. I wasn't the only one in this townhome setup to step out their front door, This is like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because there's cops everywhere, too. And I asked a cop, I said, should we be getting the hell out of here? And he said, I think it'll be all right. But it was kind of nerve-wracking because, like I said, the gas was pouring out of this cracked pipe with such ferocity it made this unmistakable noise. So this was the part that was kind of fun. It was nerve-wracking, no question. This was the part that was kind of fun. Eventually, about 5 or 6 firemen with all of their heaviest gear on line up, and they start kind of slowly creeping like a caterpillar. You know what I mean? All 6 of them in a line are creeping towards this cracked pipe. And this is the part that cracked me up. Eventually, the lead guy raises his hand up in the air to give the sign to halt. And they do. And then the lead guy kind of turns to the other fireman. He's saying something. I can't hear it. The lead guy goes to the back, and the back guy goes to the lead. And I imagine that the lead guy might have turned to the other fireman and said, hey, look, I'm not ready for this. You know what I mean?
I got kids, man.
I got kids. Can the guy, has anyone in the line got more experience with this than me? And the guy in the back said, yeah, I'll take the lead.
Get the guy from the caboose. Get him up front here.
Yeah.
He's conductor now.
Lead guy said, look, I'm not built for this. I'd like to go to the back. And they all agreed that it was the right thing to do.
Less Jesus than Jesus. Jesus said that opening my garage door could have been an issue.
That's what I was thinking too.
I never even would have known that because, like I said, until I did that, I never even suspected it was my house.
Everyone knows that if you have some kind of a suspected gas leak, you notify nobody and you just get the hell out of there. But you don't tell anybody.
Nah.
You just get the hell out of there.
You call the guy in the back, hey, get to the front.
You get to the front.
Local 34, Jesus said, you almost died. We work at refineries. They don't even let us carry cell phones outside of the break area because they can cause a spark and an explosion.
Don't get...
Yeah, I thank you. I learned that from the person at the other end who was telling me, you got to go, man.
That is so funny to me that you made a phone call in the gas house.
Well,
I don't blame him. I wouldn't have been none the wiser.
Well,
really? I would have got the heck out of there.
Technically, I was already on the phone, just calling to say, hey, there's a gas smell in the neighborhood, and I don't see anybody out here. So I was already talking to them.
Oh, all right.
And when I walked in, I heard it, and that's when I said, oh, shoot, this is my house.
You're the last guy in my life I need to get blowed up.
Yes.
There are other people in my life.
It was a long time ago.
There are a few other people in my life, if they got blowed up, hell, they got blowed up.
Yeah.
But I don't need you to get it. But it does remind me of the story of how we met. Now that we're talking about explosions and gas issues and whatnot and terrible, it reminds me of how we met. Dana and Ashley likely remember the story. How did this work again? Oh, yeah. I decided to try skydiving. Stupid idea.
It's very weird of you.
Terrible idea. I decided to...
It doesn't seem like you.
No. I decided to try skydiving. And, I'm in the skydiving class. Whatever they get... For an hour, before you get in the airplane, for an hour, they tell you everything you need to know about jumping out of an airplane and skydiving. Is that what they call it? Yeah.
Yeah, before and then after that, they make you sign the papers that say if you die, it's not their fault.
Right. And
It's gravity's fault.
so I'm all set to go, and I jump out of the airplane, right, with the parachute on my back, and as soon as I'm falling to the earth, I forget everything they taught me in the class. Everything. I don't know what to do. And as I'm screaming towards planet Earth, completely clueless as to what to do, I pass Josh, and he's shooting upwards from. And as we passed, I said, "Hey, do you know how to operate a parachute?" And Josh says, as we pass, he says, "No, do you know how to light a gas stove?" So you put up with that friggin' story, and it was all just a dumb joke. Ashley even helped me with the story, and it was just a stupid joke, but it's true, and it's how Josh and I met.
I remember we had a gas stove growing up, and my parents would have to light it with a match.
Oh.
And I remember being nervous every
Woo!
time.
Did it ever make that boom
Oh, yeah. There was
sound?
one time my dad came close to having no eyebrows left, for sure.
Oh, that happened to me, Josh. I tried to light a cigarette on the stove once, and no eyebrows anymore.
It really took your eyebrows off?
It singed them. It didn't take them all the way off,
Oh,
but it
man.
singed them, and I had that burnt hair smell just for days.
Yeah.
No matter how much time I washed my face or washed my eyebrows, it was just burnt hair smell.
Cubby knows my bro Big Al.
Love Big Al.
The next time you
he
see,
will literally give you the shirt off his back if you compliment.
he did. He actually took his shirt off once at a
In a
bar,
public place.
handed it to Josh. Next time you see Big Al, take a close look at him. He has no eyelashes because he burned them off on a faulty water heater.
How long ago?
Oh, I don't know, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago.
Oh, they don't grow back?
Oh, I don't know. He might, yeah. But he did burn his eyelashes off when a water heater decided to fight him one night.
I just remembered we had an embarrassing moment at our current house 2 years ago, I think it was. There was a really weird, like, chemical smell in our house, overwhelming, and it kept getting worse. And so we're looking
Your
around.
son was smoking meth in the basement?
No, he was too young for that. That was more, he was into heroin at the time. Yeah, the meth was later. So we were trying to figure out where the heck this is coming from. And I had my wife check the kitchen. I'm like, so you checked the stove? You checked all this stuff? She's like, yeah, there's nothing going on. So we called the fire department. So what do we do? Like, well, we'll come out and take a look. And they were in our house for, I'm going to say maybe 30 seconds. And there was a pretty big response. There was like an SUV, that had like a lieutenant or something, and then they had 2 separate fire trucks.
Came to your house?
Yeah, out in front of our house.
And what the hell was it?
Well, apparently nobody's admitting to it, so we're going to say it was a dog, which I don't think it was a dog. Somebody turned on the burner on our stovetop, and there was a pan on top of it. And the pan was basically melting to the glass.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, that smell.
And so I had never experienced that before. And it was.
Who blamed it on the dog?
Well, it's just like with flatulence at the house. The dog gets blamed. And so my wife's like, well, it must have been the dog. But I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, because it's not like
It wasn't
on
the dog.
side of the cabinet. This is on top.
No.
So I think she forgot to turn it off.
And she didn't want to admit it.
No, I think that's what it was. But I'll tell you what, I understand because I felt like the world's biggest dumbass. I couldn't stop apologizing. And I would say out of the 6 people that showed up, 5 of them were very understanding. 1 was not. I think we interrupted something. Yeah, that guy, he was not.
Yeah, blaming the dog, huh? It's a weak move. So there you go. What do we got going on later today? What day is today?
Wednesday, remember?
It is, right.
Yeah,
because
it could be a problem.
Wednesdays are almost always a problem. That means Randy Shaver will join us and Brad Ryder at 7:30. You're doing all right, though, huh, Josh?
So far, so good.
Happy?
Of course.
Happy as a shift worker at a vape shop?
They are the happiest, I've learned.
Yeah, we just read that, didn't we? Shift worker. I guess I'd never thought of what that means. Shift worker means an hourly worker. Did you guys all know that?
Yeah, that was the most miserable I ever was. That's surprising.
You did not enjoy being an hourly worker?
No, not at all. It was so awful.
What was so awful about it?
You make such crap pay, and you never have like a specific set hours. You usually have to work holidays. Usually have to work the weekends.
Huh.
I guess depending on
Well, in your industry, because you were in the what do you call it? Restaurant
Service industry. But even when I worked in retail, I hated it because of those reasons.
Okay. All right. I mean, I had some hourly jobs that I loved. You had a different experience. Shift worker, hourly worker, paid hourly. That's what that means. And I don't know if I ever knew that, but here we go.
A lot of those hourly jobs, at least the ones that I worked, I mean, you never had to worry about 50 hours a week or anything like that. You know, they'd want to cut you off at 39 and a half.
Oh, a little under 30, then they don't have to give you benefits.
Oh, it's even under 30 now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there's long stretch in radio where I'd work 50, 60 hours a week, but I'd have to only put 29 and a half down on the pay card.
I remember those days, doing promotions and everything else, for sure.
All right, well, here's the deal. The happiest shift workers or hourly workers are folks who work at weed or vape stores.
We've got
They seem chill.
Yeah, they do seem very kind of just content and relaxed.
I get confused on the terminology and what's what anymore. With
Oh,
these
don't
things.
get me started on this.
'Cause, I mean, we've had vape shops by us, but now there's like a dispensary. So,
Yep.
and this seems like it should be an obvious answer to this question.
I
but-
have an answer.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you first ask the question.
So they can sell marijuana, right?
Okay, here's my answer. Don't care.
Well, and it sounds like a dumb question, but we've mentioned this before, and people text in, no, they can't do that. That's not what's going on.
No, they can't yet.
Just like
So what are they dispensing?
They're probably
Advice?
it's probably all of like the CBD and THC products that are like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, like the different drinks you can get, the gummies.
Right.
So isn't that weed? Okay, I'm sorry to even bring it up.
just
Yes,
don't
it
even
is.
bother. Don't even bother.
It's confusing.
The whole friggin' thing has been confusing from the get-go. I'm so friggin' tired of trying to figure out what is legal and what's not and what you can sell and 10% of this and gummy
It's
this.
so
and
weird.
I'm just done with it.
When they're like, hey, it's legalized, people text, well, no, it's not
Right.
legalized.
Just walk in and find out. Because at this point,
Yeah.
don't care. To quote the late great Jay Cutler. Vape and weed store employees are just the tap dancing happiest sumbitches of all the hourly workers. And great for them. It says here 92% of weed and vape store employees feel, quote, good about their job. Some of them even said they feel amazing.
They're very helpful. The first time I walked into one of those places, I was kind of nervous, intimidated, because I'm kind of like you guys. I know jack crap about any of that stuff. And they were just so happy to, pardon the pun, dispense knowledge and be like, teach you about it. They just seemed so passionate and happy and wanting to educate people about it.
I could kind of see, even though I don't partake, I could see it being fun because, all those different strains and names and stuff like that. It'd be kind of fun to learn some of that. And like you said, if you want, what kind of high you looking for?
Yeah.
And be able to tell them, well, this is what you need.
The last time I went to a dispensary, it wasn't as fun as it was like a couple of years before that. Like they were all, they just seemed like they were bored with their job. And then the girl that helped me, she had like the most hickeys I've ever seen on somebody's neck.
Oh, I mean, was she a teenager?
She was hickey
Yeah.
age.
But I just you couldn't not look at them. They were so distracting. And I
Yeah.
think she kind of felt bad about having so many on her neck because she gave me a really good deal.
Friggin' hickeys.
I was like, what happened to you?
They'll bring you to your damn knees. You know who else is awful happy in their hourly job? Right up there with the weed and vape people. Caterers.
That surprises me because I've known a couple and they didn't like it. They said they served in restaurants. They like that a lot better than catering.
Yeah, the tip situation is always weird,
That's
too.
what they brought up.
Yeah.
Those in cafes and coffee shops are, according to this information in front of us, happier than hell with their hourly gig. Those at cafes and coffee shops.
I met the happiest girl in the world at a coffee shop the other day. I mean, I went home and I had to tell my husband about it. It was so out of the ordinary. I've never seen somebody that smiley and that happy to just be alive. Made
That's
my
awesome.
day.
Well, that's
awesome.
great.
That can make your day.
They're awful happy at the dentist's office and at the GYM?
The
GYM?
GM. Gums.
GYM?
Gums? Gyms.
Jim. I told you about my one time walking into a weed store.
Oh, yeah.
That frickin' guy. I mean, he didn't strike me as terribly happy.
Maybe he was just that high.
Hey, this was in what do you call that state? Not
Colorado?
Colorado. This was in Colorado. We walked into some legit weed store. I mean, I didn't buy anything because I don't give two pumps about weed, but the people I was hanging out with, they wanted to buy some real grass, or as real as it gets at a store in Colorado, and I don't care how real it gets anywhere. But we walked in, and this dude at the front desk, and he was the only person at the front desk, was sitting in a chair with his feet up on the desk, and he was reclined as far back as you can be without technically laying down. You know what I mean? Recline all the way back.
I get that way around here sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't help it. It's comfortable. But we walk in. He says nothing. He looks at us. We look at him. He continues to look at us. We continue to look at him because we don't know what we're doing there. We would like some type of guidance here. He continues just to lay completely back in his chair and just lock eyes with us. And then after a certain amount of time, he says this. Yeah. And we said, well, we want to go buy some weed. Oh. And he kind of had to ring us in, hit a buzzer and then go, whatever.
All right, Mouse and Cheese's Jesus has cleared up the whole legal hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo, I think is.
Hullabaloo? About marijuana.
Rigmarole.
He said, last I heard, you can't sell weed, but weed can lane split in slow traffic.
Oh, there it is.
That makes sense.
I love it. All right, other folks that are happy with their hourly gig, their shift worker type of job. Oh, who else is happy? Folks that work at community centers. I don't know what that means. Folks that work at sit-down restaurants, gun shops, pharmacies. Mixed reviews working at a pharmacy.
Yeah, I've never really seen that happy of people working at the pharmacy.
Really, I went to one recently, and they were awesome. They were all in such good moods and so helpful. And
What? I never get that.
Hy-Vee and Egan. Check it out.
Always long lines and crabby people. That's my experience.
Really? Mm-hmm. Maybe they just aren't on their medications
Why
yet.
is there always somebody in the front of the line that can't understand what's going on with like their insurance card? It's like 30 minutes. I'm like, come on. Haven't you done this before? This is like your 10th time picking up this medication.
I never go there alone. I'll tell you that much because I can't figure out what they're talking about, and I always have to bring another grown person with me. So I'm probably that guy who's holding up the line if I'm ever alone because I don't understand what's happening.
You got to bring a chaperone.
I don't know. Insurance card? What do you mean? All right. What a crowd we have out there. It's going to be a beautiful Wednesday. We'll be visited later, like I was saying, by Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Am I missing anything, Josh?
Hullabaloo. Thank you to Off-Road Snapper Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
that
right.
was it.
We were missing a syllable.
I had it and I lost
You were
it.
saying hullaboo. We meant to say hullabaloo.
Appreciate.
Yeah. The brotherhood and sisterhood are always willing to help
They're
us
smart.
out. And you're getting other text messages here, Josh, saying how much folks enjoy the Hy-Vee in Egan.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I've met some 93X listeners there before. Yeah, I love that place.
What's so great about it?
What do you need some groceries?
Yes.
They got them.
Want to go sit down and have a burger? They got a bar.
Yeah, you can do that. The restaurant's good. Yeah, you like just basically, what do they call it, like in a mall food court?
Yeah.
Got something like that. Do you want a Vikings jersey? Yeah, Yeah, they got that.
I've noticed that. Yeah, if you want to deck yourself out with some gear from the local ball clubs, they'll hook you up with that.
You got an EV and you want to plug that in and charge that thing? Go ahead. They got that.
An EV?
Yeah.
You know what I want? I want a big fat-ass bucket of chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, they got that?
Okay, good.
Hey, you want to maybe grab some barbecue on the way in on a giant, awesome-looking smoker? A lot of times they got that out there.
What?
That's what we're talking about. Absolutely wonderful. All right, we'll take a little break. When we come back, we'll dive headlong into the stupid news when we return on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. It's Dana from the Half-Assed Morning Show. As always, we appreciate you checking on the podcast, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The July heat means it's officially swass and crotch soup season. Gross! It also means our AC units are being put to the test. I recently went through an issue myself, and I was so happy to have my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning in my corner. They gave me real options, didn't make me feel like a dummy for not knowing a single thing about HVAC systems, and let me choose what worked best for my home and my budget. No pressure, just comfort my way. Enjoy the show, thanks for listening, and stay cool this summer with Standard.
Jim Rome takes on sports
Why? Because you're not playing me.
with rapid-fire takes
And a lot to get to, and I'm not sure you're going to like all of it. Honestly, I don't even care if you like all of it or not. I have a job to do.
scorching debates.
On any given week, you have lots to beef about. Take advantage of it. Get up in here.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
It's not my fault. We will get to all of that.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
Get up in here, and we'll beef later on. What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You've been warned.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, man. $1.5 million. We've been talking big money over here, Dana.
Oh, yeah?
Does that sound like a lot of money to you?
Sounds like a good deal of money to me.
$1.5 million. But will I see a dime of it? No.
No.
Nope.
But, question, do you deserve a dime of it?
Oh, you bet I do.
You do.
All of it. I'm sitting over here with some big timers, Dana.
Are you?
Yeah, you and I are kind of the, how do you call it? Just broke
Eye
ass.
candy.
Average Joes. Average. Were these two other people, what are their names again? Can you help me out with their names?
Ashley and Josh?
Talking about $1.5 million over here.
Dang.
I know.
It's kind of embarrassing. The other day, I misplaced my $1.5 million. What did I do with that?
I hate when that happens.
I don't need it.
You don't need that kind of. More money, more problems, I
Tax
think is
nightmare.
the slogan that I. Cubby, you've known me for how many years now?
30. Can you believe that?
It is difficult to
Wow.
believe. You know that
Actually, this year, I think, is 30 years.
this year be 30 years.
That's so romantic.
It is.
We've yet to consummate the relationship, despite my many attempts over the years. But we'll get there.
30 friggin' years. Greatest friendship that radio's ever seen.
True.
And you know this about me. I'm willing to help folks out if they have a problem. But they got to be willing to meet me halfway. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you're a drunk and you need my help, I'll do what I can. But the drunk also has to be willing to try to do his or her part by, I don't know, maybe staying out of the neighborhood bar. Staying away from shots maybe for a week or two and just stick to beer. If you're a drunk and you need my help, I'm willing to, but you gotta make an effort too on the other side of things.
Staying out of the bar and staying away from shots. It makes me think of the new Family Guy episode that just came out. Josh, did you watch it?
Yeah. What? Remind me, though.
What?
Was that a couple weeks back?
I think it just came out not like a couple days ago. I watched it on Hulu, so I'm a little late. But it was Cleveland in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his wife doesn't want him to drink anymore.
Yeah. He goes, oh, maybe, he doesn't want to seem like a wuss in front of the guys. He's like, oh, in his head, he's thinking, they'll understand. They'll understand that I'm doing this for my wife. And then they offer him a beer. He takes the beer. And in his head, he's like, oh, it's just a beer. I'll stay away from hard liquor. That was the real problem. And then they give him shots.
That's right. That was good.
Yeah, you'll do a lot of rationalizing. in that situation, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to cut down on my drinking. Well, I'll just stick to beer and only 6 nights a week. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I have a lot of my family has had issues or continues to have issues with that, and that's really what kept me from drinking. And I have epilepsy. I'm not really supposed to anyway.
Alcohol problems run
drug
in your
problems
family,
and alcohol problems.
with your coworkers.
Sure, some of my coworkers.
You're surrounded by how do they say it? Addicts.
I am.
Yeah.
And so, you pick up on some signs and things like that. And my dad was not an emotional guy, really. And you were actually a part of this, Nick. He tried to help out a couple of his brothers over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, 2 uncles that I barely met because they were in and out of prison constantly. Right? Or
Hilarious.
Jail. In and out of jail constantly.
Yeah.
So there was a time my dad called, and I could tell something was up, but he wasn't telling me what was going on. He called when the show was over. He's like, hey, I need your help today. Can you come over? And you had said, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Something's going on with my dad. He sounds kind of emotional, And I thought, oh, God, something bad's going on. And you said, I bet it's one of your uncles.
Yeah.
I bet he got a D-dub again or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. My dad had just given him an old van we had.
Oh.
So we had to go to the impound lot. And my dad was already, just so disappointed and kind of quiet, which wasn't necessarily like him. And we get there and we open, it was a minivan. We slide open the door. I mean, it was like he robbed the liquor store. There were so many bottles and cans and stuff in there. And I mean, I think that was just kind of a breaking point for my dad where he thought, I got to step back.
Your uncle was cleaning out bottles of vodka and throwing them into the back of the van.
Yeah, so like
while
you just
he drove
said,
around town.
Sometimes you need someone to meet you halfway eventually. I mean, you understand they've got an issue and it's difficult. Yeah. But eventually there has to be a tiny bit of effort.
Yep. There's got to be effort from the person who's asking for help.
I mean, there's people like Shotgun Messiah Jesus.
What's his problem?
So he said his friends are the alcoholics. He's just competitive. That's all.
Trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for him.
Another listener texted in to say, alcoholics don't run in my family, they drive.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you some stories along those lines, too. There's nothing like, I'll just give you this real quick, but I could tell you a handful of stories, no question. There's nothing like coming home and seeing a family member of yours' vehicle broken, windshield shattered and whatnot, and you think, oh no. And then you walk up to the vehicle and that family member is doing this in the driver's seat.
Oh.
Hey, what happened tonight?
Oh, this? Nothing.
Yeah, I woke up to one of my uncles that decided to park in the middle of the road with his passenger and driver's side doors wide open.
Was the car still running? Because that happened to a buddy of mine.
Car was still.
Yeah,
I should have. I'm sorry. I should have added that information in. The vehicle was parked, still running, and the sumbitch is just windshield spiderwebbed. Hey, dude.
Gary.
Wake up. Something happened tonight? What? What are you?
Did that hopefully scare him straight a little bit?
7 or 8 years later.
Oh, sure.
No, didn't scare him straight. Okay, here's the problem. Talking about trying to help people. Some folks are way beyond help because their head is just jammed so far up their own ass. In stupid Ireland, I went there once, it was stupid. In Ireland, a 30-year-old feller was caught dealing drugs. He goes by the name of Tony Rowe. He was busted while selling drugs, and he had to go off to court for that. He did. And then, during his own sentencing hearing, I believe is how you say that, during his own sentencing hearing, he got caught trying to sell somebody dope in the courtroom.
Buddy.
That's a guy who's beyond help. I bet that friends have tried to meet him halfway. He can't cut it. He's beyond help.
you imagine being his lawyer? Like, well, son of a bitch. We can't argue that I'm not the type of guy that would deal drugs. You're doing it right in front of the judge.
I can't imagine like meeting my plug in the courtroom. What?
I'll explain that. During his own sentencing hearing for selling illegal street drugs, he got caught trying to sell somebody dope in the courtroom. You just got to be the dumbest peckerhead in the world, or you just don't care about your life at all. He was caught, Ashley, this will answer your question. He was caught selling drugs to another convict who was waiting for his turn in the courtroom, who was sitting there waiting for his turn.
Oh, yeah, they sit in that little communal box for a little bit before they get called on. All right.
F me running.
What the heck?
Oh, maybe he knew he was going away for a while and figured, might as well get some weed on me.
Well, I can,
Oh, the guy who bought the drugs?
Yeah.
I'm not questioning the guy who bought the drugs.
Oh, okay.
But you're
Trying to sell drugs.
You're in court, ready to be sentenced for selling drugs, and when they took a 5-minute recess, he sold more drugs. It says here it's unclear how exactly the two of them were caught in the act trying to trade dope in the courtroom. I would imagine maybe it was like when a teacher catches a student passing a note in class. Maybe the judge might have caught him in the act. I don't know. He was trying to sell stupid Tony Rowe that I told you about. He was trying to sell off some marijuana cigarettes and some Xanax to that other convict. And I think I have this right. You want to talk about somebody who's beyond help. Tony Rowe, Dinkus, the guy selling drugs in court, has had over 100 previous criminal convictions for drug dealing and theft. Over a hondo. So the dude's hopeless. F him. That's what I say.
Yep.
F him. Take your medicine, son.
how in the world are you not still in jail if you have 100 previous criminal convictions?
That's a very
How's that possible?
Very good question.
Good lawyers.
Boy, I don't know.
Maybe his family
I think
has
it's-
money.
Possibly.
I guess sometimes 100 is a lot, but I know that sometimes like jails or prisons will be too full, so they'll send you like a different route, maybe treatment for a couple of months,
That's a
something
lot of
like
different
that.
routes. That's 100 times is a lot of different routes.
Yeah.
A lot of detours there.
I bet his family has money. I remember once a friend of mine asked me, they said, why do you talk dirty? And I said, because my family has money. What movie? Slapshot.
Tell you what, if I want to be a criminal, Ireland, that's the place to go.
Whew.
Hey, if you get to it 101 times, we're going to lock you up for a while.
You ever had a teacher back in the day who got caught drinking on the job?
No.
Wouldn't have blamed him if they were, but no.
No, I would never blame a teacher for being a disgusting drunk, because I would be a disgusting drunk if I were a teacher, because I dislike children. A teacher getting caught drinking on the job, that would have been fun. Oh, that would have been fun. There were a few that I remember where they certainly smelled like they had been drinking the night before.
We never had anything like that.
Well, you went to a Catholic school.
Well, even so, those seems like those are the stories we hear about now, right? No, we never had any rumors. And there's just one guy that people would say played some pocket pool, but that was a nervous habit. I saw him like jiggling keys in his pocket.
Our principal was the, Hennepin County heavyweight champion of pocket pool. He was always bouncing his balls around with his hands in his front pockets. I don't think it wasn't anything sexual. It was just like a little booter-doo. He just played a little game of pocket pool while anyway. We had a couple of teachers, grade school teachers, who you could smell it on them from the night before, and that, who cares? That's fine by me.
We had a teacher in middle school that she was fresh out of college, probably 24, 25, first, second year teacher, and we could bank on every Friday during her period, she would roll in the cart, put on a movie, she would be in sweatpants and a ponytail, and she would sometimes just put her head down on the desk and take a nap.
Yeah, you had to...
Every Friday or just the Fridays 28 days apart?
What's that?
Never mind.
Oh.
You said during her period. During her period. And we all winced a little bit. So she had maybe a routine of going out on Thirsty Thursday.
Yep.
And then on Friday morning, she needed to turn the lights out for a couple hours.
Lights out, movie on, taking a nap.
Thursdays are usually ladies' nights.
A couple of my teachers, I remember, reeked like mouthwash. Like maybe they were covering something, or maybe they were drinking it instead of just swishing it around.
Oh, wait a minute. You just made me think of quite a few teachers of mine.
Oh, man, just the Listerine, you could smell it from across the room.
Yeah, interesting.
But again, I wouldn't blame any teacher for being a hard drinker. That's a terrible job that nobody wants. Here's a gal that made it pretty obvious. A young gal teacher in stupid England, who, by the way, this young gal is kind of a foxy lady.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then just it adds to it that she's a teacher. Can you imagine being one of her students? She's definitely talked about, I'd imagine.
Oh, 100%. You can see her pictures on 93X, too.
She's kind of foxy.
Yeah, definitely.
She got fired. She's been accused of deep-throating a bottle of hooch in class in front of the kids and such. 10th grade kids, 16-year-olds.
You think they'd be cooler about it.
Yeah.
There's always one.
There were probably a few kids who thought it was fine. But this gal, this young teacher, well, she didn't have a legit bottle of hooch. I'll explain in a minute. But she was cussing and swearing. She more or less came uncorked on the job. She was swigging from a water bottle full of orange liquid while blaring music from her laptop computer during health class. Her students could tell she was hammered.
That sounds like a lot of fun if you weren't at school. Sounds like a good day.
If you were at school
If you weren't at school. Like, if that was just me chilling at home, blasting some music, getting my drink on, that sounds fun.
Yeah. But she was doing this in class while she's supposed to be teaching kids this and that. She got kind of fresh, like I said, with the cursing and the swearing. And the dead giveaway that she was just blasted on the job. She forced her students to get up out of their chairs and dance the effing Macarena.
Dance with me, guys. Dance with me.
I think that song came out when I was a senior in high school. It's weird that she's bringing it back 30-some years later.
Dude, I love that dance. I will always join the dance floor when that comes on.
Oh, yeah?
Can you do it?
Yeah, it's just like I'm thinking of like the regular one, right? Where you put your hands on your shoulders.
Yeah,
and eventually
I haven't seen
they go
it
on
in
your
so
hips.
long, but it sounds
and
right.
Then you shake it out.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
Yeah, that's fun.
I think you know the Macarena better than the rest of us. Her students said that this teacher lady is normally reserved and quiet, even boring. But on this day, when she got a hold of that orange liquid that she had put into a water bottle, was a totally different story. And by the way, did I say her name yet? Miss Ashton is her name, Miss Ashton. Part of what she teaches in this class, a health class, is alcohol awareness, which makes the whole damn thing even more fun.
I'm showing you what not to do.
Oh, no, Cubby.
What?
Miss Ashton had just picked up one of those DWIs a few months prior to this episode. So she gone. They fired her.
So she's having some issues.
Come on, everybody, and the thing, a Macarena, and the bit, and the that, and the beta. I remember that
Hey, Macarena.
one. Yeah, that's the one.
How long before she has an OnlyFans account?
Yeah.
I bet she's already got one.
By the end of the month? Oh, you think she already has one?
Gosh, she's a looker.
Yeah, I just looked her up her pictures. I'll sign up.
Boss Lady Sheezus said the Macarena will never go out of style. Never.
Yeah.
I don't really go out much, so maybe they're still doing that on the dance floor.
I haven't seen it in a long time, Cubby, but I remember when it was big, and it was fun to watch. You know, that came out, you said you were a senior in high
I'm
school.
pretty sure it was like 93.
So I was in my early 20s, and, you know, with the right crowd, when those gals would go rushing out onto the dance floor to cut loose with that Macarena, I didn't move. I wanted to see every step of the way. One time with my ex-wife, we were sitting at a wedding reception, and they cut loose with that Macarena. And the gals were just out there, like Ashley was imitating the dance with the hips are going this way and they're bouncing that way. I mean, and I moron that I was, I'm just staring, you know, like a sick, starved animal. I'm staring at all the, and my wife goes, "What the hell are you looking at?" I didn't have an answer for her. She knew what I was looking at.
Sometimes you forget who's around you during those moments.
Oh my God. It was just a jiggle farm.
What about
I couldn't help myself.
What about just other line dances? Are they still going on? The electric slide or
Cupid Shuffle?
boot scoot and boogie?
I don't see them, Josh. I don't.
When I used to work late nights at a bar, they would have a dance floor, and all those would be played.
Yeah, for a stretch of time, the group dancing, the line dancing was hotter than Dutch Love. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it in years. All right, speaking of drinking, the owners of a bar, in a neighborhood that they call here the upstate region of New York, the owners of a bar in the upstate region of New York have had to apologize. It says here that a staff member referred to a party of 7 seniors sitting at the bar. A staff member referred to those seniors as, quote, old bitches. And I believe the gimmick was the staff member wrote old bitches on their receipt. Do you understand that gimmick? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as the old people asked for their check, the staff member said, "Okay, here's your check." And they had written old bitches. Ron and Helen Wilkinson, they run the joint. They call the place Deacon Blues. They named it after that Steely Dan song. You guys know that one?
If you sang it, I know the title.
Yeah, the old Steely Dan song. Ron and Helen Wilkinson, they run the joint. They are, quote, mortified that one of their servers would refer to customers as old bitches.
I think I'd laugh if I was called that someplace.
Yeah, that's great.
I saw him once, Steely Dan.
How's he live?
Well, it's not a guy, it's a band, I think.
How's the band live?
I think I'm right about that. I don't think it's a guy. Oh, yeah, Steely Dan is a slang term for a vibrator.
Oh, is it? It is?
Yeah, they named their band after a vibrator.
I can't say I know too much about them.
Oh, yeah, I saw them live. They opened up for somebody. I couldn't tell you who it was. It was fine. It was fun. It sounded good.
I was at a fast food restaurant not too long ago, and it's one where I went inside, so they have to bring you your order. And on the receipt that was on my bag, all it said in description was pregnant.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I thought, you know what? You're right. Yep, that's cute.
Pregnant chick.
Boy, they're taking a gamble on that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, I'd be nervous.
Similar thing happened to me. I wasn't called an old bitch, but we were at a bar. It was a hungover college Sunday. NFL was on. We're like, all right, boys, let's go belly up, get a beer, and get some food in us. So we go to the local bar. It's just 3 of us, me and my 2 roommates, sitting at the bar, and we close out, and she puts it all together as one tab. And we're like, well, we're 3 dudes sitting here, each at a different stool. Can we just get individual tabs? She comes back, and the tabs, the description, loser 1, loser 2, and loser 3.
That absolutely rules. I would triple whatever I was planning on tipping.
Yes.
Which one were you?
I think I was loser 1.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This waiter or waitress at this joint who wrote old bitches on the receipt for some elderly customers will likely get the gas. They will be fired. Hell, Josh, it says here, one of the older ladies having lunch that day was an 87-year-old grandmother, and by God, she's trying to pay her bill, and she sees that the receipt says old bitches. She didn't need to see something like that. That's hurtful. Minutes later, she passed away.
Oh, rest in peace.
I'd imagine the shock of being called something like that.
Speaking of leaving little messages on receipts and whatnot, Josh, I'm sure, remembers this when he and I went out to lunch one day. God, I hate that. You do that all the time. I don't know how you can do it all the time.
I used to.
You used to go to lunch all the time.
Rare. If it's a Friday, maybe, but almost never anymore.
Every day I'm going out to lunch with this one. I'm going out to lunch with that one. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, my schedule has since changed. I never do anymore.
I rarely agreed to that let's go to lunch crap.
Oh, you weren't even asked. Like, and even if the Friday ones, like sometimes me, Dana, and Ashley will go. Mm-hmm. We don't even ask anymore because we know. Well, that's not true. I guess sometimes I'll bring it up. Hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah,
knowing that you're not interested.
You're always kind enough to at least make me aware of it, even though you know I'm going to turn you down. I just don't. I can't understand. Once we're done with this, ooh, I want to go home. Oh, I want to go home. So I don't understand how you guys could just sit and talk more. That's the thing. We talk our balls off on this friggin' show. When the show's over, I don't want to talk to anybody for hours. I don't know how you guys can. Anyway.
Oh, I enjoy spending time with Ashley and Loser One.
Oh!
I just found a new nickname, didn't I?
Josh and I went to lunch once with a fellow on-air personality that we used to be familiar with, Pillow Hair. So it was Josh and I and Pillow Hair.
Pillow Fight.
Pillow Fight, I'm sorry. Josh and I and Pillow Fight went out to lunch one day, and our server was a hot number. She was a spicy little pickle, our server was that day. And at the end of lunch, Pillow Fight, cheap bastard that he is, Pillow Fight did decide to cover lunch. He said, hey, look, I got lunch, right? Paid for us. And I saw the check that he left for our server, whose name was, I don't know, Alicia. Let's say her name was Alicia. So Pillow Fight writes out the check, and in the memo part of the check, he wrote, Alicia is a super fox.
He was right, but that made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's so weird. Don't do that.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know how to feel about this text. This person wants to go to Chipotle with me, but not talk.
That kind of sounds nice.
Yeah.
Shut up, man. You're ruining it.
That's the thing that grabs me more than anything. I mean, number one, all of us, when this is over, we should go immediately home and go to bed for hours. Okay, that's what I believe. But the thing that grabs me is when you leave here, sometimes you do more talking. That just sounds like the worst thing in the world.
It's not that bad. But that's why we usually do Fridays. I think it's easier to do that on Fridays.
Much easier.
Yeah. All right. Fishbone, Cubby. Wasn't that a funk rock band that had an hour or two of popularity back when we were in our...
I remember watching their videos on MTV and whatnot.
For an hour or maybe an hour and a half, Fishbone was something in the music business. They put on some funk rock.
Yeah, it's like funk, reggae, a little of everything.
Anyone here ever have any problems with a literal fishbone?
No, I've been lucky.
I've had one that just maybe cough a little bit, but nothing worse than that.
When I was a kid, I swallowed a bone from a northern pike.
Oh.
All sideways, and I had to go to the doctor's office and have them choke it out of my windpipe so I could breathe proper.
Oh, ouch. I'm really careful about that. If I ever catch, like, some crappies, I'm very serious. Like, I have to monitor the situation if somebody else is doing it. I don't trust people to not cause me to choke.
Not cause me to choke.
We were on a camping trip. I was probably a 5-6-year-old kid, and we went fishing, and I loved, when my dad and his buddy Dean would fry up fish, right out the boat.
Yeah.
Right. We'd get back to the campsite and they'd start frying it up. So I was just like a little monster with fried fish. I would just blast it down. And I got a little too pumped about eating this northern pike. And big friggin' bone stuck in my windpipe. It was horrible. They had to take me to the doctor. Doctor had to put a friggin' pole saw down my neck. It was just awful. They say fishes are one of the healthiest foods you can eat, but you got to be careful with them fish bones, by God. A guy in godforsaken Thailand shared a photo on Thailand Facebook that showed a picture of his wife. She swallowed a fish bone, and it came spraying out the side of her neck.
Oh.
You following this? Like the bone, from the inside out, the bone stabbed through the side of her neck.
You can see the picture on 93x.com, and I don't know if you guys were like me when you saw it, but I was kind of disappointed. For whatever reason, I was picturing like the cartoons.
Yeah.
Where it was an entire skeleton out the side of her neck.
Blood spraying everywhere.
But you can tell from the picture, that is quite the fish bone.
Yeah, definitely.
At that point, do you just, to take it out, you just pull it through the neck?
I'm not. I'm trying to remember how the story ends. I'm sure I'll get there. She. What's this? What does it say now? She felt it when she swallowed it. But they went to the ER. Doctors couldn't see Dick in the x-ray, so they sent her home. They assumed that the fish bone had dislodged itself. She still had a sore throat. 2 weeks later, she notices a spot on the side of her neck that looks swollen. A second round of x-rays still didn't show anything. Doctors gave her some pain meds and told her to stop bothering them. So she didn't realize she had a fishbone problem. See if you can follow this. Until she was applying a pain patch that the doctors had given her. And when she pushed down on the patch to apply it to her neck, the end of the bone stabbed through it.
No, the way I would freak out. Oh my gosh, they would have to load me up with so much Xanax or Benadryl to calm me down.
They went back to the ER, Ashley. They knocked the woman unconscious, yanked the bone out of her throat. Doctors said they'd never seen anything like it before. The new guy was in the corner puking his guts out. After she came to, she told everyone in the room that she planned to avoid fish for a while, possibly forever and ever and ever.
I can see that ruining fish for you.
Switch to fish sticks or something.
There you go. In
You
your
like
mouth.
fish sticks?
Oh, I love fish sticks.
What do you, explain?
Like in my mouth. Fish sticks. I love
Fish
them.
sticks. You like fish sticks, you put them in your
Yeah,
mouth.
as much as I can get.
Any kind of fish stick?
Now, it sounded like you said something different. But yeah,
I misspoke.
yeah, fish stick.
Any kind of fish stick?
Any kind.
Got it.
The bigger, the better.
Well, sure.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
1-1 the count on Paulie. A huge crash of lightning as Contreras kicked, and it's a balk.
Wow. They're going to call that a balk, and everybody jumped.
Mother Nature gives Jacksonville a run. It's 2-1, and Norfolk is arguing the call, but I don't know how you could argue that. Unfortunately,
It's unfortunate timing.
I'm telling you, tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard at this friggin' video.
That poor pitcher, too.
Up on our website, Ashley?
Yes, sir.
You got to see video of this poor kid. Oh. The pitcher specifically. Minor league baseball game last night. I don't know where, Florida, who cares? Dude's got a runner on third. He's in his windup to deliver a pitch to home, and this crack of lightning and thunder scares the piss out of the pitcher. So he stutter steps, and he's, ah!
I mean, it got everybody.
Yeah, if you play it again, that was a hell of a thunderclap.
Yeah, here, hold on.
1-1 the count on Paulie. A huge.
I was talking to Nick about it off the air. The batter was in the stands. He jumped so well.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped.
So
Every player on the field had poop in their underwear.
Yeah. The pitcher specifically, he thinks he's dead from a lightning strike. He falls all over the mound. They call a balk. Just merciless. They call a balk. The guy from third gets to score. I love that video. Best video of the week, month, maybe possibly year. That's just awesome. Check that out on our website. Oh, that poor dude. You're right. You guys are right. Everybody in the ballpark jumped, but everyone's going to pick on that pitcher until the day that he dies.
Right.
Because
The timing was perfect.
Oh, God. Ah!
It was so loud.
He gets called in the manager's office after the game. That balk was really unfortunate. We're going to send you back down to single A.
Yeah, come on, man. The lightning struck the parking lot, for Christ's sake.
I can't believe the game was going if the lightning was that close.
Yeah.
That was right there.
A lot of people on social media said, well, why wasn't this game delayed?
Yeah, they usually do if there's lightning just in the area.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, the umpire said, no, let's keep her going.
We're going to get this through 5.5, call an official game, and get out of here.
That is effing funny. You'll rewind that a dozen times. I promise you that. Great showing from the Twins last night. I like that. I like beating the Chicago Cubs' ass. 8-1. It wasn't even 8-1. The last run, there's a garbage. 8-0 was the real final score last night. Nothing but good things for the Twins last night. And they'll play the second of their 3-game series with the stupid Chicago Cubs and all their stupid fans that are in town. They'll play the second game tonight at Target Field at 6:40. We'll talk to Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder here before you know it. But for now, we're going to take a little break ski, and we'll listen to Josh's news report here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. It's Dana from the Half-Assed Morning Show. As always, we appreciate you checking on the podcast, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The July heat means it's officially swass and crotch soup season. Gross! It also means our AC units are being put to the test. I recently went through an issue myself, and I was so happy to have my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning in my corner. They gave me real options, didn't make me feel like a dummy for not knowing a single thing about HVAC systems, and let me choose what worked best for my home and my budget. No pressure, just comfort my way. Enjoy the show. Thanks for listening, and stay cool this summer with Standard.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast.
I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
TJ Jefferson, what up? Friends of the show are really wanting to engage with this podcast.
Welcome, AJ Francis.
They were like, we just want you to cause a ruckus. So I went out there, did my own version of a pipe bomb, and it went everywhere.
Wrestling royalty right here. Mick Foley. Anything that you're glad that it's gone?
Well, glad the chair shots to the head are gone.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network.
Can you tell them where to find
us?
Yeah,
follow and listen on your favorite platform. 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
93X rocks.
Oh, Lord, please.
93X.
And there's been an argument for a while that the body scanner technology that people go through in general security is sufficient enough to detect threats. TSA is also developing additional scanners that are even better at sensing it.
Keep your Converse on and don't part with your Pumas. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, if you're flying out of Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, you can keep your shoes on when going through security. The Airport Commission chairman confirmed that MSP is among a handful of airports across the country where passengers no longer need to remove their shoes during screening. The shoe rule originally came out after a failed terrorist attempt in December 2001 when a man tried to ignite an explosive device hidden in his shoe on a flight from Paris to Miami.
Who throws a shoe?
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't until 2006 that the TSA made shoe removal a formal requirement, thanks to the dude dubbed the Shoe Bomber, who looked like he had never showered a day in his life.
Oh, my God. He looks stinky.
Since then, TSA had been rolling out new ways to improve security, like testing facial recognition and tightening ID requirements.
I just took my shoes off a few days ago for that exact purpose, Cubby.
Yeah, I did as well.
You know what's tough is when they make you take the belt out of your pants.
Oh, that's the worst.
That does suck. Remember when I had to get in my underwear in front of everybody at one of our trips?
It takes me a while to get my belt on and off. Oh, of course I remember when you got down to your little silly boxer shorts.
I thought they were messing with me. I'm like, are you serious?
The straightest cat on the airplane got stripped down to his drawers when we landed in Costa Rica, I think it was. Where were we?
Yeah, Jamaica or the British Virgin Islands.
Stripped Cubby down.
It was 2 times they got me. 2 different airports.
They're trying to get a look at that little acorn of yours.
Yeah, they ran me through like every scan you can think of, and they never saw a penis. Never once.
That was just, I remember if I would have known how to speak the language, I would have said, look, you're picking on the wrong guy here.
Key West police say a 57-year-old man told officers, "Today's my birthday," after getting high on meth and taking a trackless sightseeing train for a spin on the 4th of July, even picking up passengers along the way. July 4th was indeed Jonathan Winslow's birthday, but he celebrated a little bit differently. Police were called to what they call the Conch Tour Train Depot about 11:30 a.m. Friday on a report that came in about a stolen train on a mystery meth mission cruising around downtown.
How the hell do you steal a train?
Well, again, it's just like a car, basically.
Oh.
And so I'll explain. According to the arrest report, he left his Kia behind at the depot with the engine still running and rock music blasting from the radio. He told employees that he used to work for the company years ago and asked for a quick tour of the train. Then he just hopped in and drove off. The employee, confused, thought maybe he had permission, but decided to alert others anyway. He did not have permission. When police finally caught up to him, they said he was talking fast, clearly excited, and when told he was being charged, he insisted he was just borrowing the train on his birthday. Mm-hmm. and he again claimed he used to work there. Turns out Winslow had even picked up 2 unsuspecting passengers during his meth-fueled bicycle birthday joyride.
That's nice. Picking up a couple folks. They thought he was maybe legit for a second or two.
Yeah, they did. During a search at the county jail, a corrections deputy found a pipe in his pocket. He claimed it was a weed pipe, but deputies said it did test positive for meth.
Oh.
Earlier this year, a group of masked teens pulled a similar stunt, taking an empty NYC subway train for a joyride and posting the whole thing on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that was smart.
I'm telling you, those meth rocks, Josh, are still doing nothing but putting wins on the board.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you hear a lot of stories about all the great things meth does for a person.
It's still knocking it out of the park every time.
Or the inspiration it gave him to become a captain of industry or something like that. There's usually some bad stuff going on. A 31-year-old man was arrested after deputies said he tried to steal nearly $1,500 worth of merchandise from a Lowe's store, then attempted a creative escape by hopping onto the back of a UPS truck. Michael DeVersa made his move July 3rd, but ditched the goods and ran when he realized police were on their way. Not long after, someone called deputies to report a man clinging to the back of a UPS truck, completely unknown to the poor driver just out there doing his job. Once the driver discovered his truck had turned into a transit service, he pulled over. He told the guy to do what Dana does after a Nintendo announcement, get off. The man did as he was told by the boys in brown and jumped off the back of the truck, but by then the boys in blue had arrived and took him into custody. He tried to get away on a UPS truck, said Sheriff Rick Staley, but instead earned himself a free same-day delivery to the Green Roof Inn, his nickname for the county jail. DeVersa was arrested and charged with shoplifting.
Well, there he goes, huh?
That's like a movie.
Yeah, the pictures were kind of funny. I'm just hanging on the back of that thing.
Yeah.
You know, those delivery drivers are in a hurry. They got work to do. They can't be slowing down for some dude hanging on the back of the truck. He's out there trying to learn a legitimate living, and this guy jumps on them. If you've pooped in Minnesota's capital city in the last week, it's not your fault, but you may owe a local gentleman an apology. St. Paul's Fire Advanced Technical Rescue Team responded about 11 a.m. yesterday to rescue a man who'd been stuck since the 4th of July in a sewer, of all places.
No way.
The 39-year-old was found conscious and alert about 10 to 12 feet below ground, marinating in the butt brownies of someone you may even know.
God, help us all.
Fire officials said he reportedly had been in the sewer for 3 or 4 days and couldn't get himself out, surviving only on sewer snacks. Paramedics assessed him.
Did he have to eat a doo-doo pie?
Yeah, he took and ate a doo-doo pie.
Nah, I would just die.
Well, I'm reading into that. The story didn't indicate that, but we can guess. 3 to 4 days, you're going to be starving, even if it's just doo-doo pie. Paramedics assessed him at the scene, transported him to a hospital in stable condition, though like a pungent cocktail somewhere between Post Malone after hot yoga and a scratch-and-sniff version of Nick Nolte's infamous mugshot, he stung the nostrils of first responders.
We are not sure how the individual ended up down there. It's unclear whether he fell or whether he, took himself down there. What we can say is that the area or the hole did have a cover on it, a hinge cover, and it did appear that the cover had been tampered with.
Well, that's 5-6 days he was down there.
Yeah, just hanging out in the heat and the poop.
How is it that he really made it?
Survived?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can live that long without food. I don't know.
But no water? What's he going to do, drink sewer water?
I wonder if he did.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, the breath.
I feel like he's going to, 10 years from now, he's going to have some weird, rare illness.
Yeah, or he's just completely immune to any feces-based bacteria or something the rest of his life.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about E. coli anymore.
I wonder if maybe he really did eat a doo-doo pie.
The news comes as a new report revealed nearly 2/3 of U.S. beaches saw fecal contamination last year, some so bad they had to close it. 1 in 7 beaches showed potentially unsafe fecal contamination on at least 25% of the days on which turd testing occurred.
I remember a few years ago, you couldn't go swimming at Big Island on Lake Minnetonka because some college kid sprayed diarrhea into the water and everybody vomited.
Yeah, it's happened here a couple times, hasn't it? Where
Yeah.
they say, yeah, we got to close things down. A lot of poop in there.
What the heck?
There's a beach near me, though, that happened, and we drove by on the 4th of July, and somebody didn't get the memo because they were all swimming in it.
This last 4th of July?
Yeah, 5 days ago.
A mysterious man in a black cat suit has been menacing residents of a small British town, leaping from behind trees and even graves, yelling, meow.
Oh, what the heck?
Residents, they're more puzzled than panicked at this moment. They're trying to learn the identity of what they're calling Panther Man. The community's gone mental with it, said 27-year-old Abby Gilbert. Everyone and their grandmother seems to have seen him, and there are loads of posts of people trying to hunt him down, she said. From everyone's sightings, the Panther Man's harmless, although he looks scary, Gilbert said. I really don't think he's dangerous, just a bit strange, she said.
I don't think that would scare me.
No,
Yeah,
I like this.
Hasn't scared people. They're just like, what the hell?
Weirded out.
Yeah.
All right.
The figure wears a tight, full-body black suit with a mask resembling a cat.
Oh, here we go.
He's got a knack for lurking around at night in wooded areas before jumping out and trying to scare his victims. Photos of the mysterious prankster show him crawling around or writhing on the ground while meowing. In one clip, he's seen sliding under a fence near a town's bar. I didn't really feel scared, a resident posted on Facebook. He was just waving his arms and making panther noises. I was more confused than scared, they said. To residents, the wannabe cat reminds locals of the Somerset Gimp, a 32-year-old Brit who terrified another UK town in May 2023 in similar fashion, except with a gimp mask.
Yeah, now I remember that story, and I remember the videos and pictures. He was legitimately frightening to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was a little more violent, was he not?
I don't
grabbing
remember.
and slapping some people around.
And he got, it's funny, one of the punishments he got was he wasn't allowed to wear a gimp mask for 2 years or something. Gimping ain't easy.
Mm-hmm. What the hell? What's he supposed to do on the weekends?
Yeah, he got to find some other mask to wear.
Yeah, I remember the gimp dude.
Yeah. In recent years, a 63-year-old known as Purple Aki became an internet sensation in Liverpool by approaching strangers and asking to squeeze their muscles.
Is that right?
After nearly 2 months on the run, 39-year-old Rachel Smith was finally arrested Sunday evening on an active warrant out of Polk County. This was tied to a DUI conviction. May 15th, the judge issued the warrant after it was discovered she'd violated the terms of her probation 5 times, one number shy of the amount of Megadeth albums that have gone platinum. Tracking her down wasn't easy. Law enforcement had been searching for weeks, but she managed to stay off the radar until now. When deputies finally caught up with her, Smith had just one thing to say, quote, "Nobody should know this address. So who snitched?" That's all she wanted to know. Who told on her? The Polk County Sheriff's Office didn't disclose the specific details leading to her discovery, but suggested the tip could have come from a good citizen.
I think that's the first time I've heard of someone hiding out over a DWI.
Yeah, I wonder how many she's had in the past, but she's 5 times she violated probation. Jeez.
Well, F you.
2 grown men, quote unquote, from California are behind bars after things turned violent over Pokemon cards again. As the crowd lined up for the cardboard critters about 9 a.m., a 49-year-old and a 27-year-old reportedly cut in line, sparking an argument with another man.
Nobody likes a line cutter.
Nope. Words were exchanged and then fists.
Oh, hell no.
The guy that recorded the video, it kind of seems like he's seen this before. Like, here we go again.
He knew it was coming.
Another day in line for Pokemon cards. Somebody else getting stabbed. I've seen this happen a million times.
As the scuffle broke out, bystanders scrambled to get out of the way. The video cuts off, but according to police, that's when it got worse. The older man hit the victim in the back of the head with a glass mason jar. The younger one picked up the shattered glass and stabbed the Pokemon fan with the mason jar shards.
God damn.
Ow!
It's like a country song for nerds.
Shards or shardazars?
Our shards. You son of a bitch. Collectible Pokemon cards have pushed some people over the edge. They're known to fetch sky-high prices online thanks to scalpers and the wild value of certain cards like special illustration rare or hyper-rare editions.
Oh, God, I'll give you every dime I got.
This week's glass jars and Pokemon scars incident is from far from the first time that things have gotten out of hand. In May, 2 suspects armed with hammers stole thousands of dollars worth of rare cards from a locked display case in Detroit, some of them out of print for years. And in January, at a Costco restock in Los Angeles, shoppers literally fought, to grab packs off the shelves.
That's just insane.
All for cards meant for kids to play and enjoy.
A 22-year-old Florida woman found herself on law enforcement's radar after planting a high-tech tattletale in a man's car. Deputies say the man discovered an Apple AirTag tucked away in the back seat after recently splitting with his girlfriend and moving out. He said he was keeping his new address a secret from his ex, yet her car conveniently cruised past his dead-end street. Earlier that day, he had swung by his ex's house to grab a few things. That's when Shelby Hancock, who's dating the ex's son, was spotted sitting in the back seat of his car. He told her he didn't need help loading anything, and he believes that's when she slipped the AirTag into the car without him knowing, and he believes his ex told her to do so. According to investigators, Hancock confessed to slipping in the AirTag to keep tabs on the location and confessed that she and the ex used the breakup GPS to drive by his home. Now she's facing charges for installing a tracking device without permission.
She's currently dating his son?
Yeah, I need more information on that.
Right, so not his son, the ex's son.
I don't know if I can follow that, but that's something.
So this is exciting. Let's pretend you and I are dating.
All right.
And actually, I don't want to do that because there's a breakup. Let's pretend that me and Dana are dating.
Fair enough.
Dana has a daughter.
Yeah.
She slips it into who's dating my son. I made it worse. Somehow I made it worse.
Oh, I think I understand.
Dana has a son whose girlfriend put it in my car. That's how I should have said.
That's not. I don't even know why I brought it up because that's not really the point of the story. The point of the story is you've got a psychotic ex who's tracking your every move. So I didn't mean to make things difficult for you.
Have you guys ever gotten those notifications randomly on your phone that say something like an AirTag is near you?
Yeah.
That always freaks me out for a second. I'm like, is there something in my car? Who's watching me?
Well, should I be afraid of that? Because I get those messages and I have no idea their significance.
I mean, I don't know. It just means there's like one in really close into your area, right?
I have no idea.
Yes, but do you get that or do you get a message saying, hey, you left something behind?
No, not that.
Okay. Yeah, then that means you're in the vicinity of an AirTag and have been for a tad.
Wow.
By the way, Amazon has a deal on AirTags for Prime Day week. Use them wisely, not weirdly, though. That's the recommendation.
It's a good deal, too.
Prosecutors have charged a 42-year-old man with secretly recording a woman in the bathroom of a bakery he owns without her consent.
Oh.
According to the criminal complaint, the 18-year-old victim's mother told police her daughter discovered a phone hidden in the bathroom of a bakery and coffee shop in Crystal. The phone had several videos of her naked, and she believed the phone belonged to the shop's owner, which it did.
Yeah.
He told officers he deleted the recordings because he suspected the victim had found the phone, which he did. Mixing perversion with pastries, the bakery owner admitted he'd been recording the victim in the bathroom over the course of a couple weeks, saying he was trying to mimic porn videos he'd seen online.
You freak.
Police executed a search warrant on the dirt bag and found the same phone sitting on the owner's desk, along with another one hidden under the divider near the front of the shop. His next court appearance is scheduled for tomorrow.
One of those guys with a porn-fried brain.
Yeah. I haven't heard that term before, but that's a good one. That's exactly right. Airing tonight on FXX, the season 17 premiere of the fan favorite comedy, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Dude, yes. It's time.
Kicks off with 2 brand new episodes. The season features their signature tomfoolery, including a crossover with the ABC comedy Abbott Elementary as the gang dives into new misadventures like exploiting cross-network promotion, dodging PR disasters by throwing each other under the bus, and chasing increasingly absurd side hustles. Tonight's episode will be available tomorrow on Hulu.
Oh, I hate that I have to wait until tomorrow.
Take it easy.
Just watch it tonight.
I don't have the ability to.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep, I'm too cheap.
Take it easy.
Wait till tomorrow, then. Kevin Arnold on the Wonder Years, the grandson in The Princess Bride, and the mole in Austin Powers and Goldmember. Fred Savage is 49. Wow. Jack White, 50. Tom Hanks, 69. Happy birthday to Bad Company Jesus, now in the last year of his 20s. And a happy belated birthday to his son, who turned the big 02 recently. Happy birthday to dubbed famous Mises. Congratulations to Folded in Half, Still an Inch Jesus and his gorgeous wife. After 12 years and multiple IVF sessions, they found out she's pregnant. That's awesome.
Great news.
And shout out to Jewish Jesus and the guys at Goodmanson working in North Dakota and streaming 93X this morning. We appreciate you fellas. And that's 93X News.
You know, I think it's every man's dream to have his dink be a source of peace in the midst of chaos. And massive appreciation of that dude and his huge knob.
Randy Shaver on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Here we go. Go. Yes. Back-to-back home runs for Ryan Jeffers and Willie Castro. And the Twins have broken things open in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Oh, you know what I'm saying. It's Wednesday. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder are here. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Good morning.
Man, what a great showing from the Twins last night. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and fun broadcast.
I liked it, too. I liked it, too.
I have one minor complaint, but we can get to it.
Well, we talked to Glenn.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, okay, fine.
No,
right.
It's got nothing to do with the broadcast. The broadcast was great. It was fun.
We talked to Glenn Perkins yesterday, right? And Glenn told us they were trying out this all-ex-jock, no play-by-play man type gimmick on the Twins television coverage throughout this entire Chicago Cubs series. He was excited but a little apprehensive. You know, you got three guys who don't have a ton of experience, you know, being left alone to call a ball game like that, despite all their experience in the sport. But I thought it came off great. He and Trevor Plouffe and Justin Morneau, I thought the whole thing was very cool, and they made it work just fine. So congratulations to the boys.
I think having Pablo Lopez in the booth helped a lot.
He was great.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want that on a regular basis, because I appreciate what Corey Provis does.
Sure,
he's great.
A lot. So I don't think I would prefer it long term, but for this week or short term, something different, interesting. I thought last night was a lot of fun. I agree, Lopez was great last night.
I'll go along with all of what you said.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lopez,
where you see the differences when they come in and out of commercials and stuff, it's Corey is so smooth, and obviously professional broadcasters are really smooth at that. But those guys,
Thank you. You're correct.
Well, yeah, you too. But a couple of different times you could tell those guys were a little awkward at that. But that's fine.
It can happen. What about Pablo Lopez?
So Lopez being in the booth, I read a quote before the game. They were talking to Rocco Baldelli, the reporters, and they asked about Pablo Lopez going to be up in the booth with the three boys, and Rocco said something like, well, good, they need at least one adult in the booth with them tonight.
Pablo was fun. Don't be Pablo was fun. All the fellers put on a good show.
Love that he even wore the shirt like the rest of them.
Yeah, he dressed up like a dorky baseball broadcaster with the collared shirt with the team logo on it. I love watching the Twins beat the hell out of the Chicago Cubs. The final from Target Field last night was 8-1. It was nothing but good things. You had Simeon Woods Richardson going 5 scoreless innings against the top-scoring team in baseball. The Twins' bullpen was strong, and you heard some audio there in the bottom of the 8th. Up 2-0, the Twins cut loose with 3 dongs to push the lead up to 8-0. The Cubs scored just one meaningless run in the top of 9 on a solo home run. Great win.
I'll pass along something that Aaron Gleeman posted yesterday about Simeon Woods Richardson. An ERA of 1.38 in his last 5 starts, allowing the opponents to hit just 126 in 26 innings. He's dropped his ERA almost 2 points during that time period. He's been their best pitcher here in the last couple of weeks.
And you're leading right into my complaint.
All right, go ahead.
Why are we pulling a guy who is flying along He threw 61 pitches, 40 strikes, 61 pitches in 5 innings. Why do we not let him at least start the 6th inning?
Well,
I don't get that.
I don't approve of it, Brad Ryder. I don't like seeing a starter leave before he's done with 8 1/3.
But instead we got to bring in 5 relievers,
right?
And I just don't get that. I don't.
Well,
get
maybe
it.
there's something. Maybe there's something, Brad, that they have set up with him, where they're, somehow easing him back in. He's only been called back up here for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. So
I'll tell you what I read. I don't approve of it either, Brad Ryder. I'm an old school baseball fan. I like starters to go until their arm falls off. We all know those days are long gone. What I read was they didn't like Simeon Woods Richardson's odds against the middle of that Cubs lineup the third time around.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Right.
Yeah, but instead then we brought in a guy who immediately put 2 guys on, and he wiggled out of it. But I don't like it.
A lot of experience.
None of us like it. None of us like it. And I think you should give Griffin Jacks a little more credit for, you use the word wiggling out of it. He friggin', I'll give him wiggling sounds like you're almost calling it a fluke. He worked his ass off to get out of that jam in the 8th inning. Griffin Jacks did. So, but Brad, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate pitch limits. I hate all that stuff. I'm with you 100% on that.
Because then you're counting on all 5 guys that you bring in the game after that to be on, instead of letting your starter maybe try to squeeze another inning out. Okay, get him 6 innings and up to 75 pitches. Okay, then I get it. Then I just don't understand the whole 5 and fly thing.
You're preaching to the derelict choir over here. That's what you're doing. Again, the Cubs are the highest scoring team in baseball. Hopefully the Twins can continue to put a lid on all that action. Game 2 of 3 begins tonight at 6:40 over there at Target Field. David Festa will climb his way onto the bump for the Twins tonight. And Rocco's thinking, hell, I'll give him 45, 50 pitches, and then he's out.
Right. I'm bringing 5 more relievers.
So we all liked the gimmick last night with Glenn Perkins, Trevor Plouffe, and Justin Morneau. Speaking of the Twins announce team over there, did you see the pictures online of sideline reporter Audra Martin?
Yes.
Yeah. Jeez, girl.
She posted pictures of the aftermath of getting hit by a line drive a game or 2 ago. She more or less got hit right in the gut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that she has a gut. Maybe I shouldn't have used that word. She's a very pretty lady. Stomach. She got hit right in the stomach, and did that leave a mark?
Sure did. She posted the day 1 and 5 days later, and it still looked pretty gnarly.
I'm surprised she doesn't have any internal bleeding from that. Hope she got that checked out.
Dude. She got smoked by a line drive.
I'd like to know the backstory to that, because it's you're not putting yourself in harm's way during the pregame stuff. Normally, you're not even anywhere near the possibility of getting hit. I wonder if it was an errant throw, or was it a batted ball?
I thought it was a line drive.
She posted a line drive, and I guess I asked somebody, and they said it happened down when the Twins were in Miami.
Okay. Again, though, you're always paying attention to angles, and if they're in the cage, are you far enough inside the area not to, if the ball was to be a foul ball type of swing, that you're not in in danger.
Sure.
But it happens.
Yeah.
Sure.
She's got the earpiece in. She's listening to the guy in the booth is saying, okay, between these innings, you got to talk about Super America and all that stuff. She's...
Yeah, she is distracted. That makes sense, because
got things to do.
I was like Randy at first, until actually, right now, I guess, she's got a million other things to think about. I thought, weren't you paying attention?
Did it happen during the game?
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, see, I would guess it probably happened before the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know.
as you're getting, gathering interviews or information. Or
all we know is that was one hell of a deep bruise.
Oh, shit, bad.
I always thought the one thing that, Audra and some of those other sideline reporters had to worry about was after walk-off wins when they're interviewing the guy and then teammates come in with a bucket of water and throw it on him.
Yeah.
They're always in the line of fire in that regard.
That's funny because that just happened to her like a week because I was creeping on her Twitter account or X account to look at the pictures she posted. And that was another video she posted not too long ago. She was interviewing somebody. I can't remember who it was. And, yeah, she almost got absolutely drenched.
I'll tell you what, we love a good lame claim to fame on this radio program, don't we?
Sure do.
Love a great lame claim. How do you say it again, Josh?
Claim to fame.
Lame claim to fame. Sartell Sheezes is here with our latest lame claim to fame. She says, Audra Martin is dating my sister's cousin.
Get out of here.
Cool.
I don't know if that's true, but that's Sartell Sheezes. It's got to be true. SportsIllustrated.com cut loose with this, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, saying the buzzards are circling the Minnesota Twins. Other big league clubs are scouting Twins players, assuming they will be sellers at the trade deadline.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, that happens every year. The trade deadline is July 31st. I think a lot of scouts are in the stands looking at Jax and Duran and who else. That's probably about it.
Yeah, they're good enough that they have talent that other teams want. They're not bad enough that they don't have anybody that anybody wants, and they're probably not going to be a factor in the race. So it makes sense.
Maybe after they sweep the Cubs, they'll have a different mindset over there. Sweep the Cubs, I said.
I mean, there's conversation that Buxton is even, part of all those possibilities.
He won't leave.
With people's current mindsets towards the ownership, if they trade Buxton, there might be pitchforks on it.
Well, I read he has already said, I ain't going anywhere. I don't care. Correa says, I'm not going anywhere.
I wish.
They all have no trade clauses and whatnot, so they're not going. I don't think either of those guys are going anywhere.
That would be kind of bogus for us to put up with all his injuries and stuff and him be like, peace out.
Yeah. Last night, a San Francisco Giants ball player by the name of Patrick Bailey hit a 3-run inside-the-park walk-off home run to beat the Philadelphia Phillies.
It is off the bricks. This game is tied. Bailey's on the move. Bailey's on the move. I did not see that coming. Neither did my voice. I think you did good.
It sounded like the late Macho Man Randy Savage with the call there. The announcer's voice failed him? Is that what was happening there,
That's what
John?
it sounded like, yeah.
That
had to be cleaned up quite a bit. You could barely hear what he was saying.
Oh, poor guy. That was the first inside-the-park walk-off since the year of 2016.
Well, he got a crazy angle, that's for sure. He had a great ricochet.
Well, if there's a ballpark to hit an inside-the-park home run in, whether it be walk-off or otherwise, it's San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
It's massive, and it's got a lot of, dark corners that no one ever goes into and things like that. Jesus, Brewers and High Life Jesus. He never stops bothering me about the friggin' Brewers. The Brewers can sweep the Dodgers today, he says, and he's rooting for the Twins to sweep the Cubs. I love you, Brewers and High Life Jesus. I do. I'm just busting your balls. He's always keeping us up to speed with what's going on with the Brew Crew as well.
Up to speed. Where are we at with Jalen Hurts' birthday count?
Oh, it's funny you asked that question. We are now officially under 30 days until Jalen Hurts' birthday. Exactly 29 days, 8 hours, 53 minutes, and 17 seconds.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I got a clock. I got a countdown clock right in front of me. Thank you for asking, Josh.
Yeah, I wanted an update. We haven't had one since yesterday.
Nick, I'm kind of surprised that your Brewers fan has not been going crazy with you about their young pitcher over in Milwaukee.
Kowalskiewicz or whatever his name is?
Mizorowski.
He has mentioned Mizorowski. He has.
He struck out 12 against the Dodgers last night. He beat them 3-1, beat Kershaw last night. This kid was called up I'm going to guess sometime in May. He has been absolutely lights out. He's like the next wave of Skeen and Skubals. Skeens and Skubal.
He's been wonderful.
He's unbelievable. God, if the Twins had something like that, oh my God!
I was just thinking about that the last time. I mean, we've had good solid pitching, but I think the last time we really had that, where you threw a guy out there and you knew you were going to get that, was
Carl Pavano.
Santana. No, Carl Pavano. The Santana years.
Yes.
In the early 2000s.
Santana and Liriano.
I was going to say Liriano kind of fit that bill a little bit too. It's this kid is. I mean, I've watched him pitch like twice on like highlight video kind of stuff. He's phenomenal. He's great.
No, he's had a great year, and I'm happy for the Brewers. I am.
Definitely not kidding when you say kid. Gosh, it's so weird seeing.
12.
It's so weird seeing like anybody born after 2000. Like you're supposed to be like 13 if you're born after 2000. I don't get it.
The interview with him, actually, in the clubhouse last night, talking about pitching against Kershaw. Honestly, he looks like he's 12 years old. It's insane how young he looks.
Such a baby face.
He looks like a damn seventh grader. But I don't approve of people calling him the Miz.
Yeah,
he's not the Miz.
Yeah,
there's only one
can't
Miz.
do that.
And what is he?
You want to know what
what is the Miz?
He is awesome. I mean, you got to come up with something other than the Miz. I'm sorry, you can't take that nickname, Brewers fans. What's the name of the kid again? Mizorowski?
Yeah.
And the Miz in the WWE is a Mizansky. We already have that covered. Yeah, he's a far better athlete as well than this Brewers pitcher.
Have you caught Miz and Mrs. yet?
No, I know you watched the balls off of that show.
Yeah, we did.
Is it still going?
I don't think it's still going. If it is, I've missed it. I mean, but we watched the first 2 seasons, and maybe that's all there was. But
he and his stunning wife, Maurice.
Yes.
Wow.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, you can't call him the Miz. You got to come up with something better than that. All right. This is something we covered earlier, but it bears repeating. The finest video anywhere on the internet today is the video of this minor league pitcher who was frightened into committing a balk in a minor league game yesterday. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, do you have any idea what I'm talking about yet?
No, but is it on your website?
Yes.
It's on our website.
I'm going there right now.
Minor league pitcher on the bump, ready to deliver a pitch to home plate. He's dealing with a guy on third base, right? Minor league game, couple of teams, no one cares who they are. Right when he's into his windup, a massive bolt of lightning and thunder scares him so badly he falls off the bump and he is given a balk. The heartless home plate umpire still called the balk, even though an act of God scared the life out of everyone in the ballpark. Still calls a balk, and the runner is allowed to score from third. The audio is incredible.
1-1 the count on Paulie. A huge crash of lightning as Contreras kicked, and it's a balk.
Wow. They're going to call that a balk, and everybody jumped.
Mother Nature gives Jacksonville a run. It's 2-1, and Norfolk is arguing the call, but I don't know how you could argue that. Unfortunately,
it's unfortunate timing.
That is just the best video.
How in the world are they out on the ball field if there's the threat of that kind of a lightning?
A lot of people were asking that question.
We were wondering that too.
Yeah. I didn't notice this the first time I watched the video, but now I can see it. The runner that gets home, he mocks the people that jumped.
Yeah. I mean, that was a bolt of lightning that must have hit a car in the parking lot of this ballpark.
Yeah, if I'm the runner, I'm sprinting home and sprinting into the dugout.
Yeah. Like Josh said earlier, everyone in the ballpark jumped. But, of course, this pitcher is going to get his balls busted until the end of time because, I mean, you watch the video.
Well, you can't blame him.
He literally goes, ah! in the middle of his windup.
A huge...
Just awesome.
Just the timing of that. It hit while he was winding. He wasn't just, working the ball over, checking signs. It happened to be while he had his leg in the air, getting his, his kick on.
We're getting questions saying, what's a balk? I guess you don't see it enough. Maybe people don't know.
Can you guys explain it better than I can?
Brad?
Once you come to a complete set as a pitcher with runners on base, you cannot flinch, you cannot move. Your next movement has to be to home plate.
Right.
Yeah.
Former pitcher
and
right
you
there.
Have to hold, and you have to hold for like a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know who the former pitcher is on this program, don't we, Brad Ryder?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Good for you.
Who's the catcher?
I am.
Who?
Yeah, Ashley.
Ashley was a catcher.
Yeah,
Yep.
very good.
Or was that a sex joke, Dana?
Oh, and I walked right into it.
No.
I am, Ashley
Darn.
says.
That's why I stayed quiet.
I also was a catcher when I played, how do you call it, Little League Baseball. I loved it.
Best position on the field. You're the captain of the field.
I loved it. I loved the gear, the dramatics of pulling off the mask
Yes.
in front of my mom and dad to catch a pop-up,
The best feeling.
My hair whipping in the wind. I wanted to be a pitcher. I actually wanted to be a pitcher on one particular Little League team.
When you had hair.
I should have been, but the coaches, of course, picked their sons to be the starting. You know how that
Well,
works.
because they were the best on the team.
Oh,
Nick.
no. They weren't the best on the team, but the coach's son,
There was at least a fair tryout where every player got to show their pitching ability.
No. Just the coach's sons were just selected as the starting pitchers before we even had a practice, Dana.
But they drew their names out of the hat.
No.
Okay.
No, they were just, no, my son is going to be the starter. All right. Check that video out of that poor bastard on the bump. It's great stuff. Oh, by the way, when we were talking earlier about the minor league pitcher who got the life scared out of him by a lightning bolt so badly that he committed a balk, a listener texted in. I missed this one. Maybe this was when we were on vacation, but feel free to look this up. It's quite funny. A Pittsburgh Pirates fan got hit just above the penis by a home run ball. Everyone online is saying, watch this guy take it square to the nuts. He didn't get hit in the nuts. He got hit just between, Josh, would it be the pubis?
Like right above it?
Yeah, like
sure.
Between your belt line and your Johnson.
Yeah, that could be very stingy, but it's better.
Dude's in the front row, center field, standing. Home run ball coming at him. He doesn't know whether he should reach out for it. It looks like it might stay in play, and it hit him right in the pubis. Feel free to look that up, because that's funny, too. The players are laughing at him. Everyone's laughing at this guy. And a Pirates
Should I
game.
Google using the word pubis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pirates baseball pubis. Those search words ought to get you what you want. Let me know if you find it. It's funny. Where was I going next with
I
this?
think the fan's name might have been Harry. So,
Harry?
Just Google Harry Pubis. And you'll find it immediately.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, more fun videos. More fun videos. And keep it in your pants, Corey can't beat me at golf, Jesus. This always pisses me off. I just got a text that says, how are you not talking about the golf fight? Keep it in your friggin' pants. What do you think, this is amateur hour? I'm sorry I blew up. But I hate that stuff. We get that all the time. How can you not be... Yeah, we're going to get there.
That's an especially good text when we had talked about it twice earlier in the show.
Or when we already talked about it twice.
Or the day before.
The world does not begin when you turn on the radio. Yes, there's a great video going around of a fight on the golf course in Canada. A fist fight on a golf course in Canada. Typical one group screaming at the other about who's taking too long, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pace of play.
Well,
Right.
it did say they were taking like 20 minutes.
No, I mean, I'm not picking sides. I'm just saying it was a typical golf argument where one group was mad at the other for taking too much time. And for the longest time, they're shouting at each other in Canadian. A lot of curse words. You're an effing jag-off. You're not my buddy guy. You're not my guy, buddy. All that typical, right?
Kind of hard to watch that part.
Yeah, it goes on forever with the jaw-jacking.
When I started the video, I'm like, okay, just get to the fight already.
Yeah. Finally, one guy says, okay, let's go. What that guy, the guy who finally said, I can't take the jaw-jacking anymore, I want to fight. That guy, what he didn't know is the guy on the other side of things was a former NHL enforcer.
That's hilarious. I got to say, when I watched the video, so I saw the video before that was revealed, who he ended up fighting. The guy that was freaking out at first, the guy who got his ass kicked. I thought I wouldn't mess with that guy. He kind of looked like a tough guy.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He got humbled awful quick, like immediately.
Especially compared to that guy. I mean, that guy looked kind of small compared to the big guy.
Yeah. The former NHL enforcer is a former player by the name of Nick Tarnasky. I don't recognize the name. He spent some time with the Blues and the Predators and the Argonauts and whatnot. This former NHL player cleaned his opponent out pretty easily.
Like immediate.
In this golf course fist fight. It wasn't even close.
I had no idea because I don't know if you guys remember, but I sent it on Monday and I had no clue that's who it was. I just wanted you guys to see a funny video.
Well, it wasn't revealed yet.
Yeah.
They didn't start writing about it until yesterday.
He did the guy a favor. He was actually good to the guy by throwing him in the pond right away.
Well, you could tell he was trying to end it, but the guy kept getting back up.
Yeah.
The NHL guy.
He could have really beat his backside.
Oh, he could have
easily. I'm going to hold your jersey and I'm going to hold you in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
He fought just like an NHLer might fight. With his free hand, he grabs the guy's shirt, otherwise known as sweater in the NHL.
Yep.
Here's the thing. He almost threw the guy directly into a pond. He cleaned the guy out quite easily. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's on our website. People are texting this right now, Josh, because the one Canadian kept yelling, "Why don't you cry about it?"
Yeah.
About it.
Here's a little bit of that. Again, like Nick said, it's in Canadian, so you might not understand everything they're saying.
Come on, man. Hey, off to a good start, buddy. I told you. Man, leave him alone. You want to know? You want to scream at me? Leave him alone, man. I got it all on record.
On record.
Hey, you want to go, guy? Leave him alone. Hey, leave him alone, man. Why wouldn't you go back, you on? Hey. Bang! Come on, man. Bang!
And he narrated the fight as he's punching.
Yes, he did.
That is the best part. I want to get them fight out.
You got to let me bang. Yeah, that's the other notable part of the audio or video is when the enforcer, Tarnasky, former NHL enforcer, when he delivers a punch, he yells bang.
Bang! Come on, man. Bang!
Why?
And it was all on record.
That's so good.
And yes, he could have killed this other individual.
100%.
He could have killed the guy. He did take it easy aside from those 3 bangs.
Yeah.
I'd be on the other end going, cry. Narrating my actions in that fight.
The best is I've seen some still photos because at the end he kind of throws the guy again, tosses him to the ground.
Oh, he chucked him.
And he's like mid-air.
Oh man, he threw this other guy like he was a sack of pucks.
Right.
But you guys agree, like he didn't look like a wimp at all.
No, he did not.
Nope.
I would have been incredibly intimidated. Well, I mean, I'm not an NHL enforcer, obviously, but he was intimidating.
The other guy may have had some liquid courage. You never know.
Yeah,
I think you're right. He looked that way.
And the other guy did the act crazy routine. He was doing an evil laugh for a while.
Exactly.
He was like punching his own fist and, whoa, come on. I mean, the other guy did the act crazy bit. It didn't work.
As Citing Jesus said, alcohol equals 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can tell before the fight starts that the regular guy, the regular golfer, he was doing the lean. He's kind of leaning back a little bit.
Too many drinkies?
Oh, yeah.
Little case of boat legs?
Yep.
Let me bang,
I do let you bang.
I do let you bang. Stop, Josh, stop asking me to let you bang because I do let you bang.
Sometimes I just want to bang. That was a really embarrassing moment from the Ultimate Fighter. That particular guy that just wanted to get out there and bang.
This golf fight is a great video, but let me ask you. I'm going to give this Tarnasky guy the benefit of every doubt because he did take it easy. He could have murdered this guy quite easily. And he did warn the other guy by saying, hey, look, you're not a tough guy. Stop acting like you're a tough guy because you're not, okay? But let me just ask you this question. Do you think Tarnasky should have said, hey, I used to fight for a living? Do you think that Tarnasky should have said, I used to be an NHL enforcer?
No.
No? You don't think that would have been?
No. Get what's coming to you.
He gave him plenty of...
No, that might have made it worse on the front end. The guy might have taunted him even more.
You're probably right.
And it seemed like he had some restraint, for a while. Who knows what was off video, what we didn't even see, but he seemed, to me at least, he wasn't looking for a fight. He just finally decided, okay, I guess I have to.
Yeah, he was kind of like...
and he tried to end it immediately every time.
I gave you chances, man, but all right, we're going to do this thing. I don't want to, but... Oh! I think after the initial toss, and then once the guy came back at him, he kind of got those juices flowing from back in the day, and was, all right, now we're really going to do this thing. That's when he started doing the bang-bang routine.
I wonder if he did that on the ice.
Yeah, 64C10, Jesus said he started the video, and he thought that the tattooed guy was going to be the winner. Boy, was I wrong. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I thought that was the enforcer when I saw the headline at first. I'm like, well, this guy must be the former NHL dude.
Thought the exact same thing.
Hey, Brad, our listeners are thanking you for explaining what a balk is a few minutes ago. Balk in baseball terms. They want to know, can you tell them, can you explain to them what a push pop is? What's a push pop? What's a push pop?
Brad!
All right.
No.
He doesn't know what we're talking
Dana,
about.
can you send him something?
I'll send you some links.
What's a push pop? What movie? Mike and Dave need wedding dates? Is that the correct?
Nailed it.
How about this story about... I just got a text that says, how can you guys not be talking about Dallas Turner from the Minnesota Vikings?
Are you serious?
No, I'm joking. We did not get that text message.
I was going to say.
I'm joking.
There's plenty of time left here.
What a terrible story about this Vikings player, Dallas. I never heard of the guy, but apparently he plays for the Vikings. He's an edge rusher. That's the term for his position on the field. I'm seeing more and more of that term, an edge rusher. I think, Randy Shaver, back in our day, we used to call that a defensive end, didn't we?
That's correct.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the point of the story. This poor Turner kid, word is he got swindled in a bank fraud scam. So here's the story. Scams everywhere. Low-life jagoffs on every corner these days trying to scam you out of this or that with a telephone call or over the internet. It says here this Turner kid took a telephone call back a few months ago from a man claiming to be a banker from J.P. Morgan Chase, whatever that means. Over the phone, the man told Turner that someone was at a bank branch in Arizona impersonating him. Hello, this is your bank manager from the bank in Arizona. There's someone here impersonating you. The only real impersonator was the dude on the telephone. The fake banker told Turner that this imposter at the bank was looking to take some money out of Turner's bank account. He directed Turner to immediately transfer his money to two separate business accounts in an effort to thwart the supposed theft attempt. Turner bought it. He went into a Chase Bank branch in Eagan. He took $120,000 and put it into this account. He took another $120,000, put it in, and it was all a scam.
Oh, my God.
So messed up.
You never do that. You never do that.
Jeez, no.
I mean, you hang up and then you call the bank back.
It really sucks.
And one of the things that some of these professional athletes have at their disposal too is people within the organization that they can go to, and the people in the organization can put a stop to that. You know what I mean? They can, but I don't know why he wouldn't have done that. They get told that when they're
I mean, at the least, when you walked into the bank in Eagan, why wouldn't you ask someone, hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
Is it real?
There's not a whole lot of people outside of Josh that are taking $120,000 out of a bank in Eagan on a daily basis.
That's a really
welcome back, Mr. Pitney.
That's really too bad for this.
That is really confusing because I used to work at a bank, and like a withdrawal like that has to go through so many different channels, and usually the bank manager will make sure that it's not some sort of scam.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel bad for this kid. That sucks. It's embarrassing. He's far from alone. People are getting scammed up and down.
That kind of stuff happens to elderly people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They get these phone, and
need the
obviously
beekeeper.
It's not the same amount of money, but it's just,
After Turner transfers all this money to a scam account with some scumbag on the other end of it, looking to collect $240,000. That's how much money this Turner kid from the Vikings pushed over into these scam accounts. After that, he called a family member, and that family member had to tell him, hey, look, bro, I think you got scammed. That just sucks. Eggs.
Well, maybe silver lining, it gives him some incentive to work harder for that next contract and helps the Vikings out.
Rex Ryan had a good time over the 4th of July weekend. Do you guys remember Rex Ryan?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's looking good now. He's got himself in shape.
Slimmed down a little bit. Yeah.
Compared to what he used to look like.
I always thought he was kind of a jag-off.
He's got his moments, but I know what you're saying.
But whatever.
He's kind of got a little bit of a douchey vibe.
Former NFL head coach. I think he's still on television somewhere.
I think he's on ESPN.
Nobody watches ESPN. Over 4th of July weekend,
Oh, my gosh.
he was hanging out with some of his coworkers. Saggy Steele.
Sage Steele?
Sage Steele.
Sage Steele.
Not saggy.
She's in pretty good shape.
Sage Steele. I can't believe sometimes.
I love you.
I can't believe the way I come off sometimes. I should have known that word is sage. Steele.
Sometimes when you read it, it's different.
It does look very different when you read it.
In your head, you probably knew.
I can't tell if you're joking or if you're really...
No, that wasn't. That's a lady?
Yes.
I thought maybe it was a dude with the nickname Saggy, like Shaggy or something. Okay. Sage Steele.
How would you like to be called Saggy?
Well, if you're a dude, who cares if you're called Saggy? I didn't know it was a lady. You guys can call me Saggy if you want. I don't care.
Man.
Rex Ryan is hanging out with Sage Steele and Sam Ponder. So there was another guy
Christian
there.
Ponder?
No,
that's also a woman.
Son of a bitch.
Ponder's a female.
Rex Ryan hanging out with Sage Steele and Sam Ponder or at the 4th of July. There's pictures of this all over the internet. They're arm in arm, having a good time, the three of them. And Rex Ryan is wearing a T-shirt that says, "Just here to bang."
That's adorable. He's at the age where it's adorable.
Yeah. Like if I showed up at the 4th of July barbecue wearing that, I'd look like an absolute idiot. But Rex, I think you can pull that off at this point.
Especially since you're married and fairly new, newlywed, that wouldn't look good.
I mean, no offense to this, but it does seem like a shirt you would wear.
It does, definitely.
It seems within character.
But we're going to grab you by the belt loop and throw you over the side of the boat, I think, if you showed up, Dana, with a "Just Here to Bang" T-shirt. Rex Ryan can get away from it. Get away with it is how I should have said that. And so these ladies texted or tweeted and said how much fun they thought the T-shirt was and everything. So they weren't offended at all.
No, that's an That's a good one.
Just here to bang, he says.
He's the guy with the foot fetish, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of a well-known foot fetish.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, some videos leaked online of him checking on his wife's feet and something like that. And he was open about it. Admits he goes, "Yeah, I like feet."
He's a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Yeah, until I put mine in his gap.
Oh, God.
That'll cure him of that.
Oh.
Look
Your
at him.
saggy feet.
Look at him, Ashley.
No, I don't want
Look
to.
at my feet.
No.
Ashley hates feet.
So much. Yucky. Sandals should not exist.
You looking at Nick's feet induces labor.
You know what will induce labor? My feet might, but you know what certainly will induce labor? A push pop.
Oh, yeah.
What's a push pop?
Josh, I said we'll send you some links.
We'll send you some friggin' links. I can't wait to find out what a push pop is. When's the last time either one of you guys got high?
A couple weeks ago.
Very long.
1979.
You owe me $20, Josh. 1979. An article went bouncing around the internet yesterday. Athletes who like weed. I mean, nowadays it's pretty much all of them.
That was the NBA for sure.
All the athletes they're all popping those gummies and smoking big fat blunts and whatnot. But this article kind of covered more or less the pioneers, if that's the proper term. You know, athletes who kind of busted down the door. when it comes to the stigma of marijuana and top athletics, I guess, is how I should say that. They said here, these athletes proved that cannabis culture and championship vibes can totally coexist. So there's the obvious answers in here, like Mike Tyson smoked weed before fights. Ricky Williams retired from the National Football League so he could smoke grass. So there's some obvious ones that you've heard over and over and over again. But there's a few fun ones in here that maybe you have never heard of or forgotten about. This one I do remember. A former NBA player by the name of Dion Waiters learned the hard way about edibles. It says when he was playing for the Miami Heat, this was only a few years ago, if my memory serves me correct, he once ate too many THC gummies on a team flight, and he had a full-blown panic attack at 30,000 feet.
Oh, no, buddy. Once it starts to, you can't shut it down.
He was just pawing at the windows.
Yeah. So you've had that happen, Ashley?
Absolutely, yeah. Where especially with gummies, I think it's more common because the high just hits you so much harder. And yeah, I've had those moments where nothing but anxiety for hours, and I'm praying like, please don't let me be high anymore. Take it away.
Didn't you have an experience like that, Nick?
Well, I watched somebody.
I thought you got real paranoid on something. That's why you said you didn't like weed.
Oh, well, whenever I smoked grass as a young person, I usually ended up making a complete fool of myself, but I don't remember.
Wasn't there a painting?
Oh, I know what you're talking.
I thought there was like a...
I was forgetting an obvious one. Yes, when we were playing hockey out of town, senior year of high school, we were playing in an out-of-town tournament. And after a game, we all started partying in the hotel room. And I went into our goaltender's room, he'd been smoking pot since he was 2. And I went into his room, and we had a couple of beers, and then he broke out the joint sticks. And me being a very much part-time pot smoker in high school, I messed with it once in a while, but not very often. I sat down with this goalie, and he fed me a bunch of grass. And this guy was a pro, even at 18 years old. Mm-hmm. I got so friggin' high, I went back to my hotel room, and I was frozen on the bed for the next 12 hours. And I was terrified of the picture on the wall of Don Quixote, who I believe was a famous Spanish explorer or something. Can anyone look up? There was a picture on the wall of Don Quixote, and I was convinced that the picture was going to climb out the wall and choke me to death. So I just was frozen on the bed for a good dozen hours in a row.
Strangely enough, well, I guess maybe it's not strange. Maybe this is normal. The only thing that's ever made me feel better in that kind of situation is you put on like a TV show or a movie, but the main thing is like to eat something, because then you change your focus to the fact that, oh, wow, this is delicious, and I'm very, very hungry, and I could have 17 more of these.
I just laid there. The next morning we did get something to eat, by God, because we went on over to Bonanza.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
That's good living right there.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Dion Waiters was climbing the walls on the team airplane because he overdosed on gummies. For older baseball fans like Randy Shaver, and we're talking about some of the athletes who first kind of came out of the closet, if you will, on their marijuana use. For older baseball fans like Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, Bill Spaceman Lee.
Oh, yeah. Pitcher, Boston.
Pitcher for the Boston Red Sox back in the 60s and 70s. He used to put marijuana on his pancakes. Percy Harvin played every NFL game of his career while high.
You could just smell it on the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd met him before?
Oh, yeah. I covered the team when he was here, and you could just tell. That dude is always baked.
He had anxiety issues. He said, there's not a game I played that I wasn't high.
Didn't he refuse to fly on the plane? I thought Percy Harvin there was something.
Because you get migraines, and the only thing that helped the migraines is if you smoked weed.
Yeah.
So it was tough to get him on planes sometimes because of the anxiety and the migraines.
I'm sure you guys remember Cliff Robinson from the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Played on those great teams with Kevin Duckworth and Buck Williams. And running the most obvious guy whose name I can't. Clyde the Glide Drexler and Terry Porter. Yeah. Cliff Robinson, whose nickname when he was playing was Uncle Cliffy, after he retired, he got the nickname Uncle Spliffy because he was one of the first athletes to come up with his own marijuana brand. And then he died.
Yeah.
I can't remember how Cliff Robinson died. Michael Phelps.
Gosh, I remember that being such a controversial
Yes, was
topic.
very, very open about his pot smoking after he became a big-time swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's every professional snowboarder and skateboarder that ever lived.
Yeah. What?
Right. Yeah, the marijuana cigarettes.
Cliff Robinson had a stroke.
Son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was never very good at pot. I was never able to manage it well enough. I would end up on the floor, you know. Of course, the uncontrollable laughter. I could never quite get it right. So I haven't really touched this stuff in quite a few years.
The few times I've actually smoked it, I did not like it.
Oh, I miss it
Well,
so
what do you mean?
much.
What's the other option?
Oh, now that they have like the THC drinks.
You can eat it and drink it. Yeah, I'm so tired of that.
But the actual like lighting the thing, like
Yeah.
it kind of hurt the lungs a little bit. Maybe I'm a sissy, but it didn't feel good.
You just have nice pink lungs, Dana. There's nothing wrong with that.
Ashley shamed me the other day. You called me like a pink lunger or something like that. I don't remember. It was
I
out of
thought
nowhere.
that was here, yeah.
It was kind of out of nowhere. You
Oh, I bet your lungs are as pink as a carnation.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up with 4 adult chain smokers.
I did shame you for it, like
So-
it's a bad thing.
I suppose you gutted some secondhand smoke.
Yeah, I mean, like, and when they drove, the windows were up. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the windows down and stuff. So I'd imagine I got to be affected by that. But it was kind of out of nowhere, and I wish I could remember the context. But you ripped on me for having pink lungs.
Yeah, I think it was something like, I look at you with those pink lungs over there, Josh.
Oh man, I was laughing. I'd never heard anybody get ripped for that.
Way to be healthy, you jagoff.
Yeah.
And we weren't even talking about anything remotely related to smoking.
Well, here's a guy who smoked some pot in our listening audience who just texted in and said, once I got so high, I put a stick of butter on top of my spaghetti.
Yum, though.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds a little overwhelming to me. but-
That's like what kids do.
Stick would be a little overkill.
Good
Some butter.
Buttered noodles.
My look.
Yeah.
All right, you friggin' pink lungs. We'll be with you tomorrow. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. We'll talk to you again on Friday.
Nick, your beloved Timberwolves are playing on TV today at 2:30.
I know. It's their first summer league game.
That's correct.
Thank you for the heads up on that. I looked it up in the
2:30
paper.
on ESPN2.
I love summer league basketball. There's a lot of hype going around. Bronny James looking real good so far in summer league, so I'm all over it, Randy.
He's going to be a summer league veteran. He's going to be playing summer league 8 years from now.
I'm all over. I'm following Bronny's progress here in the summer league so far. So we'll talk to you boys later.
See ya.
We'll be back in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. It's Dana from the Half-Assed Morning Show. As always, we appreciate you checking on the podcast, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The July heat means it's officially swass and crotch soup season. Gross! It also means our AC units are being put to the test. I recently went through an issue myself, and I was so happy to have my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning in my corner. They gave me real options, didn't make me feel like a dummy for not knowing a single thing about HVAC systems, and let me choose what worked best for my home and my budget. No pressure, just comfort my way. Enjoy the show, thanks for listening, and stay cool this summer with Standard.
Mic Drop, hosted by former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin. It's raw.
Any single time that you left the wire, you could lose 4 guys.
It's unfiltered.
That was the most horrible screaming I'd ever heard. Taking a hit on the chin, you want to pay it back?
It's tough talk from the top minds in their field.
Would I choose to not do our duty as military fighting men? No, I would not make that decision, without question.
Mic Drop. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Welcome back to what we got going here. We call it the Wednesday edition of the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. God help us, we appreciate you very much. I can't say enough about these crowds, Josh.
There's a lot to say. Funniest, handsomest, most beautiful.
One word for these great crowds we get every morning.
Sexy.
You know, we were talking about pot. We were talking a little bit a few minutes ago about getting higher than a giraffe's ass. Got a couple of text messages from folks who get high. One of our listeners, who goes by the name of Adam, has the nickname Adambulance. His friends call him, his name is Adam, his friends call him Adambulance because once he went to the hospital for being too high on a weed pen. What the hell is a weed pen?
It's like a wax pen, so I think I might be wrong. People will let me know if I am, but it's like concentrated THC.
You ever get so high they had to put you in an ambulance?
No, thankfully. I used to, though. It was funny because I've learned in the last couple of years that we've talked about it a million times. I have something called CHS, so I get very sick from smoking marijuana. So there was a stretch of time, like my whole entire freshman year of high school, we'd smoke a little bit before school, and I wanted to because it was cool. I was smoking with the upperclassmen.
You don't have to explain yourself.
But every single morning, like clockwork, first thing I would do is go to the bathroom, miss first hour because I was throwing up from getting too high, and then I would just continue my day and do it again the next.
You never had to go to the hospital.
No.
Oh, that's good. Another one of our listeners said, I once got so high I put Sloppy Joe meat on my popcorn.
Oh, I bet that's good.
He said it was the best snack a guy can ever throw down into his arrogant word hole.
That sounds really good.
Might get a little messy, but sounds delicious.
Have you ever put Sloppy Joes into some macaroni and cheese?
No!
Dude, life-changing.
I used to eat that constantly.
I know what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of folks get high out there. That's been happening for years, decades even. Let me go this direction on you. What comes to mind when I mention Chuck E. Cheese? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Go ahead, Cubby.
Well, I'm going to skip to the third or fourth thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But, good times.
Good times.
Yeah, we've had plenty of good times as kids. Pretty much we didn't have the money to play video games, but we'd watch others play video games.
You went there as a kid.
We would bike there. Well, as an adult, in high school, right? Even my senior year and stuff.
They had the fun video games there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought all they had at joints like that was like the goofy kind of knockoff games. I didn't think they had things like Galaga. They had the real games.
Yeah, they had legit games.
I didn't know
They had
that.
good stuff.
And, of course, the band. I love the band.
They got a great act. They've had a great house band there for you. What else comes to mind when I say...
I was humbled at...
Pizza.
Pizza,
of course. I was humbled there because we were at a birthday party. This was maybe in 6th grade, and I was just dumping bacon bits on my pizza because I'd been there before. And my dad was there, and he's like, son, those aren't bacon bits. You're not going to like that. That's pepper.
Oh, the red peppers.
And I'm like, old man, you are so stupid. I've been here before. These are bacon bits. And I caked that pizza in it. And I'm not a big spicy food guy. I thought I was going to die, but my pride wouldn't allow me to give my dad the satisfaction. But eventually, there was nothing I could do.
Just dripping in sweat.
I drank like the entire pitcher of Coke or whatever we had there.
You were sweating it out.
So that's definitely. And I also remember a buddy of mine getting beat up by 4 dudes out of nowhere at a Chuck. He was jumped while playing a video game.
Jumped at Chuck E. Cheese? That's just not right.
He was.
Once in a while, a kid will get tuned up at Chuck E. Cheese. That's right there in the ads, I think.
It's usually the adults that are brawling at birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese.
So let me tell you, that was maybe one of the top 3 things I've thought of. And a lot of people are texting that in.
Well, why didn't you get involved when these 4 guys were tuning up your buddy?
Well, we didn't find out till afterwards. He came up and told us.
Tell him you've got a black belt.
And on the other side, it's brown, so it's good for any occasion. But we had a guy, and I'd imagine everybody has this person in their group of friends, right? Or a lot of people do. So he told us, my friend, and he's like the littlest guy in our group. He's like, dude, these guys just came up and started kicking my ass out of nowhere. And so we were like, well, which guys? So we went out in the parking lot, and there was one dude who never started a fight in our group, but he finished every single one of them. And we all made money betting on him. It was 3 guys it ended up being. He beat all 3 of these guys.
Man.
He was a senior, I was a junior. I'll never forget. That guy was a hero to me.
That's incredible.
we start talking about Chuck E. Cheese, the happiest place in the world, we've evolved into street fighting. That's how it goes around here. What do you think of this? Chuck E. Cheese, the folks behind that operation, just announced they got a new spin-off joint for adults.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah. It's going to be called Chuck's Arcade. And they're cracking open 10 of them in the United States in malls. I didn't see anywheres on the locations yet. I don't know if we're getting a Chuck's Arcade here in the Twin Cities, but it's going to be the Chuck E. Cheese type of a vibe, but they'll serve hooch.
They already do that at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, beer. You can get beer now.
I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was there for my nephew's birthday party, and I thought, oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, then a lot
That's
has
kind of where
changed.
you go now, right? As an adult, mostly birthday parties.
I also think it's limited. I think you can only have 2 or 3. They don't want you too drunk around the kiddos.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Zach Galifianakis, you can picture what he looks like with that big beard. He has a joke where he says, with a beard like mine, it's tough to get a table for one at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, well, then things have changed already at Chuck E. Cheese that I was unaware of. The last time I walked into one of those joints was when my brother's kid was little, so that's 20 years ago. I did not know that some of them had begun serving at least beer, and in limited amounts, Ashley tells us. The new Chuck's Arcade will have whatever you want to drink. They'll have newer games like Hello.
Halo.
No way.
They'll have Mortal Kombat.
There's a Halo.
I'm sorry. New games like Hello and classic games like Mortal Kombat and Asteroids, Josh.
Wait, there's a Halo video, like a arcade game?
It's one of those big, sit-down things. You're in the Jeep. It's got, the big
I've seen
screens
that.
and stuff like
that's
that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're so fun.
Those are cool, those like the Jurassic Park one when you're sitting in there.
They rumble you a little bit and stuff. And speakers all around you.
You got to be careful if you're drinking, though. I would easily get motion sickness on one of those things.
All right, so yeah, you can still bring your kids into the new Chuck's Arcade adult version of Chuck E. Cheese, but they're really trying to sell the adult angle. They want to get the kids the hell out of there and really push for this is a place where grown folks can hang out.
I think a good way to really push that would to be not allowing children in there at all.
I don't think they should allow children in most places.
Because that would kind of, I'd be like, I'll just go to Chuck E. Cheese. I'll pregame in the parking lot.
Kids are always ruining the vibe.
Yeah, the arcade I hang out at, it's called Up Down. It's in Minneapolis. They are 21 plus. Doesn't matter if it's noon on a Sunday. You can't bring a kid in there. 21 plus all the time.
Oh, I guess I never knew that. I've just only gone when
It's the
I've
way
been
it should
older.
be. It's the way it should be.
That's where you have the plaque on a Donkey Kong game?
Yeah, there's a plaque on the Donkey Kong machine there that says reserved for Dana Wessel.
Still surprised you didn't get married there.
Yeah, we all thought that would be the case.
Now, when we first started this conversation, I asked you, what is it that comes to mind first when I mention a place like Chuck E. Cheese? And I just thought of what comes to mind for me. And this isn't directly picking on Chuck E. Cheese. This is any of those kid zone type places that I've ever been in my life because of, little kids' birthdays and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Any one of them that I've ever been to, the first thing that comes to mind, the first memory I have, the overwhelming smell of farts.
Is that what that smell is?
Oh, dude. It would always hit me right in the mug because little kids are running around eating candy and pizza and diving up and down and rolling down slides and whatnot. And it's just a fartnado. That's what comes to mind. The overwhelming smell of farts.
Listening before you were hired, Jesus, first job was at Chuck E. Cheese, served beer, and lost his virginity under the stage.
Oh, that's a virginity
wow.
right
That's
there.
scandalous.
That rules.
That's awesome.
By the way, speaking of the band, probably the most memorable thing about specifically Chuck E. Cheese is that friggin' killer act that they had up on stage.
I loved it.
The Rock-afire Explosion.
What is that?
That was the band's name.
Oh, see, here in front of me it tells me that the band was called Munch's Make Believe Band.
They had a couple different ones. But the Rockafire Explosion was one of the more famous ones that started out back at like the Circus Pizza days.
Can you name any of the members of the band? I'll tell you what I have in front of me.
Yeah, go for it.
The original members of Munch's Make Believe Band were Helen Henny. She's a chicken. All right. Mr. Munch is the weird purple monster. Jasper T. Jowls is the dog. Pasquale is the Italian chef on the drums.
Oh, I don't remember.
And then Chuck Entertainment Cheese on lead vocals.
I don't remember ever sitting down and like actually watching that. I think by the time I started going to Chuck E. Cheese, they were usually broken every time.
Yeah, they didn't work all the time, and they'd look at you with those scary moving eyes.
Dude.
But now, okay, Dana, help me out now, because you seem to know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So Munch's Make Believe Band was the original Chuck E. Cheese act. So they must have evolved, like you said, because you had a different name for the band.
Well,
give me the name one more time.
The Rockafire Explosion.
Is that the group that had the gorilla on keyboards?
Yep, big gorilla on the keyboards.
Yeah.
They had the mouse lady who was a cheerleader.
That's the only one I ever saw.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's the one I grew up with.
So, now I forgot what I was going. Oh, as far as the animatronic band, does that awesome candy store in Jordan still have an animatronic band? Oh. I haven't been there.
I haven't been there in 20 years.
In a couple years.
Oh, I can't remember. I was just there not too long ago.
20 years. They had a band that would play a song for you on the way in?
It wasn't playing a song when we were there. People told me before that they do put on performances and stuff like. Maybe they were in the middle of a break, but I saw that there and I thought that was really cool. They had one.
All right, well, brace yourselves for Chuck's Arcade, the adult version of Chuck E. Cheese, apparently. That's their new idea, and they're putting them in your favorite strip malls all over America. Maybe we'll get one right here. So we barrel-chested...
It doesn't look like it yet.
We proud barrel-chested Minnesotans can swing by the joint. Not yet, huh?
Not yet.
All
Didn't
right.
look like there was one too close to us. Is there... does the Rock'em Sock'em robots at Dave & Buster's, have those ever worked?
I've never seen people actually using them.
They look awesome, but yeah, I've never seen anybody use them either, so I was wondering if that's one of those that it just goes down all the time.
The Rock'em. I remember the first time I went to that Up-Down joint that you like so much, Dana, and I almost fell into some sort of a seizure watching folks play Mario Kart on a massive big screen television.
Oh, that huge screen, right as you walk in?
I was just, my eyes were swinging around, trying to follow everyone in their Mario Kart, and I about just tipped over. But it was a lot of fun, and I played a little bit of NBA Jam, which is one of my favorite games.
Candy Store still has it. Thank you. They've got the animatronic band.
The Jordan Candy Store.
Oh, I love that place.
It's
I'll
awesome.
tell you what.
The Half-Assed Morning Show.
Minnesota's 93X.
Yeah. All the screaming and the shouting going on there. We got to get going. Very shortly, we got to get going. Like Josh always says, as great as we are at this, we can't do it all day.
Never said that once.
We were talking about some new vibes going around Chuck E. Cheese Enterprises. The folks at Chuck E. Cheese have decided to bust loose with an adult-themed, not like pornos and whatnot, but an adult version of their joint called Chuck's Place. It'll be for grown folks. They'll serve you all kinds of hooch and whatnot. They'll have all the video games, right? So keep an eye out. Maybe we'll get one in town. We've been missing a term here because we started talking about Up-Down, which is in Uptown. Did any of us use the term barcade yet?
No, we haven't thrown that one out there.
People are saying that's what we're supposed to call these adult-themed video game joints. They should be called a barcade.
That's funny. I haven't heard that.
I like it. It's cute.
Yeah, that's the term that they throw around a lot.
You don't like that one, Ashley?
Nah.
It's so
Oh, really?
simple.
Why not?
I just don't like it.
It's simple.
Nope.
Ashley, it combines bar and arcade. Do you not understand?
Nope. Stupid.
Not only that, Ashley, but just one letter made such a difference.
It turned it into a whole new word.
All right, let's go ahead with this because ever since we started talking about the new barcade, Chuck's Place, people have been texting in saying, are they going to have this video game there? Are they going to have that video? I don't know. What I do know is Ranker.com went ahead with this again. They asked their readers to vote on the best old-school arcade games of all time. Here are the top 20. Argue whatever direction you'd like, okay? The top 20 all-time How did I say it? Old school arcade games. Number 20, Golden Axe. Never heard of it.
No, that belongs on the list. That one's fun.
Number 19, The Simpsons arcade game.
Oh, that should be a lot higher.
So I've never played that one, but everyone that is into gaming, it seems like they love it.
That's my favorite.
Button masher. It's just a lot of fun.
Yes, Marge and her vacuum.
Yes.
19, no, I covered that. 19 is The Simpsons. 18, Rampage.
Love it.
Yeah.
17, 1942.
Also love it.
Very fun one.
16, Gauntlet.
Had a blast with Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Took a lot of money back.
Oh, that was a quarter sucker, man.
Warrior need food.
15, Mario Brothers. 14, Defender.
Oh, yeah. Man, I played the nuts off of that game.
13, Centipede.
Yeah.
These are all great.
12, Double Dragons.
Another great one.
11, Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug's great.
Now we're into the top 10 old school arcade games of all time, right after this on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, no, we don't have to do commercials.
We don't have any commercials. Number 10, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game ski.
Yeah, it's another one like Simpsons where it's the 4 players and you're side-scrolling, beating up bad guys. A lot of fun.
That one is fun. There's a bowling alley not too far from us that has it.
So they got one?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so we played that quite a bit.
Number 9 is Miss Pac-Man.
Of course.
Yep.
8, Asteroids.
Yep.
7, Mortal Kombat.
Big fan.
Oh, yeah.
6, Space Invaders.
Yep.
5, Frogger.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You guys ever play Crossy Birds?
No.
I can play, you can play it. If you have an Apple TV or something like that, you can play it on.
Oh, okay. So something new, obviously.
Well, it's been around for a while, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it like Flappy Bird?
Maybe I might have just said it completely incorrect.
No, Flappy Bird was a really popular app that you could get on your phone, but it doesn't exist anymore because so many people were getting addicted to it and losing their jobs and stuff that the creator shut it down.
I've never even heard of Flappy Bird.
It's their fault.
Yeah, he felt so bad that he just took it down.
Crossy Road, thank you. That makes more sense.
Crossy Road, and you said Floppy Birds?
No, I said Crossy Birds.
Oh.
I combined those two games.
I always like Frogger quite a bit, but very quickly it gets difficult.
It does.
And it's frustrating. Number 4.
Yeah, those logs travel super fast.
Yeah, no log goes that fast. What is number 4 on the all-time arcade game list? That would be Donkey's Kong.
Sure.
Street Fighter Part 2. Well, where's the first one?
Oh, Street Fighter 2 is kind of where it basically started.
2 is one that I spent a lot of time with as a kid, whether it be at the arcade or when they sold it to me in the form of a Nintendo game, and that would be Galaga.
I never really got into that, but a friend of mine, his folks had some cash, and they bought him the stand-up arcade Galaga. And
I loved
very
it.
Jealous.
I really loved it, especially when you get the double whammy thing and you can grease those stupid alien bugs up and down. And number 1, of course, is, go ahead,
Pac-Man.
That's right, Pac-Man.
I liked Miss Pac-Man better than Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man could cook a little faster than Pac-Man could. He was pretty slow. Miss Pac-Man was kind of the souped-up version, a lot more fun.
You've always been about equality.
You're right. That's it. Oh, Hubert, somebody texted. Yeah, that's a good one, too.
I like that one. Okay, before we go, we also, earlier on, we're talking about getting real high. And I got a couple more text messages from listeners who got too high and bad things happened. All right, this guy says, I'm 54 years old now. I haven't gotten stoned since I was 32. And there's a reason why he shut it down. He got so friggin' high at a wedding that he threw up his shrimp appetizer and the bride's dog ate it.
Gross.
Throwing up is gross in general, but a shrimp appetizer.
That's a good day for the dog.
And also, in 1998, a listener says, I got so high, I traded Randy Moss for a piece of pizza in fantasy football. And Josh was old enough to remember, in 1998, you didn't trade Randy Moss for anything in fantasy. He scored 4 or 5 touchdowns a game.
Not a whole pizza, no food, nothing.
And they were all bombs. They were all 70-yard touchdowns from Randall Cunningham, the greatest quarterbacking Viking. He traded Randy Moss in 98 for a piece of pizza. He was so high.
But if you were high, I bet that piece of pizza tasted so good.
Oh, yeah.
For a brief moment, he thought he was the winner in that transaction.
Yeah, a couple hours later, he had some regrets.
Before we go, a couple more suggestions on classic video games that should be on the list. And I agree, I loved these. Dragon's Lair. I was never any good at it, but I really liked that game. Paperboy, Spy Hunter.
Yes.
Another couple really good ones. That Spy Hunter theme song, that'll get stuck in your head.
Contra should be on there. Track and field should be on there.
Yeah, definitely.
They can only do 20.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We got to go.
All right, we better go. Happy 13th to Colton from Green Bay Attorney Jesus, and happy birthday to Two Pumps and a Squeeze Jesus.
Hey, podcast pals. It's Dana from the Half-Ass Morning Show. As always, we appreciate you checking on the podcast, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The July heat means it's officially swass and crotch soup season. Gross! It also means our AC units are being put to the test. I recently went through an issue myself, and I was so happy to have my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning in my corner. They gave me real options, didn't make me feel like a dummy for not knowing a single thing about HVAC systems, and let me choose what worked best for my home and my budget. No pressure, just comfort my way. Enjoy the show, thanks for listening, and stay cool this summer with Standard.